Microphone. There we go. Welcome and good morning. Glad to have you at our Board of County Commissioners meeting. Feel like we were just here a few hours ago. So it was good times then. Let's have some more fun today. Call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum present, everyone present here in the chambers. If you'd rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and afterwards a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Commissioners, we have an agenda before us. Excuse me. Looking for an approval of today's agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have the minutes from our April 19th, 2022 meeting. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd make a motion to approve the 4/22/22 minutes as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
Can we make it the 4/19/2022?
Oh, sorry, wrong one, 4/19.
Yeah, we'll get to that one next. Thank you. And we have a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I know I was absent for that meeting, but as I read through the minutes, I just like to go on record, first of all, with some of the action I've seen that was taking place. I see that the commission came out of executive session and established a fire warden as well as 3 deputy wardens. I looked far and near, and maybe it'll come out afterwards, but it'll be interesting if there was a contract or anything or any financials tied to that. I think we need to know, and it needs to be transparent. Second notification, when I see that, I know the attorney's working on contract with Wamsetter, Granger. I think they also need to be ready to work on a contract with Bear Oil because they will be responding out of their areas to help with county fires. And then also the other thing comes to mind because of MOUs with fire, the city of Rock Springs, I believe, is listed to possibly respond as backup for county and assistance. So we might want to consider if we need a contract with them as well. And also with those chiefs of those departments, I think they need to be considered equal as a deputy Sweetwater County Fire Warden. So I think those are things that we need to consider as we move forward. So that's one thing I'd like to point out. The second thing I would like to point out is I do want to go on the record that I do not support the contracts for fire service. I've always stated it before. Anytime you enter into a contract is like the devil. And you're basically making an agreement with the devil. And once that's started, and I think we're beginning to see that and experience it as we watch what's happening with ambulance, with Sweetwater Medics coming back again, and with the cost going up to nearly 1.8 million for Castle Rock to continue services. I don't think there's too much different. And so I just want to go on the record. And then also the third thing, Mr. Chairman, before I left the last meeting, that meeting where I left early for another appointment, I'd requested a couple issues be mentioned after executive session. I think in executive session, you as a board addressed one of them, but the other one was not mentioned. And I think it has to go on the record. I think it has to be brought up. And that is the letter that came from Sherry Ramsey Reddick regarding the requests that she's made that I think the fire committee should probably address. and that type of thing. And one of the things throughout her letter, of course, it's not supportive of the county getting rid of abolishing county fire, but she's also attempted to locate a feasibility study that should have been conducted by the commission to eliminate county fire, and which would bring no less risk to the county rangeland, timber, wildlife, private property. And she has requested as a courtesy, as to her as all the Sweetwater residents, on how to find and review the results of feasibility study. If it wasn't conducted for such an important matter, myself and the county residents will need to understand why the commissioners chose not to perform one prior to the decision to disband. I think it needs to go on the record that the commission did not authorize the committee to look at a feasibility study. But the one thing I'd like to remind the community that prior to the decision to move forward, almost 2, maybe 3 commission meetings, if you go back to the minutes, it's in there clearly that before moving forward, we would meet with the public. We would look at all the alternatives and meet with the public and get their input. That motion and approval by this commission was totally ignored as it moved forward. With that being said, I want this letter from Sherry Ramsey Reddick on the record, because I think she hits it right on. I also feel that it's important for transparency reasons that this commission explains why we did not follow our own motion and why it is we did not follow through with the public. So with that, I think those are important pieces that need to be brought up as part of the minutes. I do not wish to change any structure of the minutes because I wasn't here. It was a critical time, but plans had been made a long time ago, not that type of thing. So with that, of course, I'll abstain from the minutes, approving the minutes because I wasn't here. But at the same token, I think I want to go on record as comments about the minutes and what they're missing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second then. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you.
Abstain.
Thank you. We had a special meeting on April 22nd, 2022. We have minutes for that meeting. Looking for an approval of those minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'll make a motion to approve the 4/22/2022 minutes.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of approval, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Abstain.
Thank you. Acceptance of the bills. We have the county vouchers and warrants, the bonds, EALs. What is your pleasure, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bills as presented, the county vouchers and warrants, EALs, and approval of the bonds.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion down to second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approval, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. On to tab C, budget amendments and public hearing. Cindy Lane's going to do the work with Miss Berry out.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'd like to offer our congratulations to Bonnie Berry for her new baby daughter.
excellent. Sounds like a lot of work to me, but congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations, Bonnie and family.
I have to bring my public comments up with me.
We have 3 budget amendments, and so we'll have 3 different public hearings as well. So take it away.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Today we have the 3 budget amendments. The first is for fleet vehicle maintenance. that would increase the fleet vehicle maintenance general fund for maintenance budget for $15,000 and an expenditure decrease of the general fund for facilities maintenance operating $15,000. Mr. Legursky is here if you have any questions.
Questions for Ms. Lane or Mr. Legursky? Okay, then we'll open this up for a public hearing. Did you have any comments, Cindy, or anybody in the, no? Anybody with us? Sheriff Grossnickel's with us. Did you want to comment on that, Sheriff Grossnickel?
I'm good right now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you just popped up, so, you know. And you can see online. Oh, you got your computer with you, so, okay, thank you. Any comments regarding the budget amendment for the fleet vehicle maintenance? Then we will close the public hearing. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve the $15,000 increase for the fleet vehicle maintenance from facilities maintenance.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, so, excuse me, second.
Choked up. It's so exciting.
It is, and I even have the answers now. Okay, so the second one is an expenditure increase from the general fund for the county sheriff operating for $210,000. And that will be a decrease for the general fund for county sheriff from payroll. And the reason for this is the annual maintenance fees for Axon were budgeted in capital rather than operating. They are for the patrol camera video storage system.
Questions? Questions for either Ms. Lane or Sheriff Grossnickel regarding this budget amendment? Then we'll open it up for public hearing for resolution 2205 CL02 for the county sheriff's operating and payroll budget amendment.
I don't have it.
Any comments? Public comments? Okay, we will close the public hearing. And I neglected to ask Sheriff Grossnickel, any comments on your budget request, your amendment request?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is just moving money from our budget. We are not actually asking for any other funds. We're just moving the money from payroll to take care of that. As the clerk said, it was put in the wrong line item, and we're just moving that over. Also, there's a slight increase of fuel and cost for food, which we could not anticipate, and that's where that money is going to go.
Slight increase for fuel. That's good.
We budgeted accordingly for this next coming year, we hope. But again, our crystal ball is broken. If it worked, I definitely would have won the lottery by now. So.
Woohoo! Amen. Good. Any questions? I apologize for not including Sheriff Gersten earlier. Okay, then we have. Did we have a motion in a second? We have not. We've had public hearing. Where are we at? Is that true?
Yes,
Okay, we've had public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 22-05-CL-02 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Ms. Lane, back to you.
Okay, the last one is resolution 22-05-CL-03, which is a budget amendment that increases this one's a little complicated. It's two-part. So I'll explain that first. The first part is where the $400 bonuses for the employees came out of the grant fund. And then the second half is the general fund. The other comes out of the general fund for the voluntary separation plans for the departments that had people leave, and they received the $42,000. So it put the budgets over. So we have an expenditure increase from the general fund of grant revenue of $104,721.83, and a general county reserves decrease from the general reserve of $126,428.17.
Thank you. Can I ask why Commissioner's payroll was 3,600 increase in expenditure?
I believe that is just going over in the, I believe it was, I don't want to say the wrong thing, like travel or the reimbursements.
So not out of payroll? I mean, it's under payroll, but
Yeah.
that's why I was wondering.
our payroll.
Because when you do the fringe benefits and you travel, that is considered payroll. You have to pay taxes on it.
Okay, thank you. There we go. Other questions? Excellent. Then we will open this up for public comments.
The other thing is it could be the insurance increase we had to. So insurance went up.
Probably both.
Now we're good.
Public comment for resolution 2205 CL03 now open. Public comment regarding this resolution. Any comments regarding this resolution? And we will close public comment. And commissioners, what is your pleasure? Nobody wants to amend the resolution. Nobody wants to approve the resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would move to accept resolution 22-05-CL-03 for payroll purposes as presented, which would be a general, an increase in the general fund of 104,721.83 and a decrease in the reserves of 126,428.17.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Thank you.
Welcome.
Nice work, Cindy. Thank you. County residents' comments, concerns, and I always want to include compliments. So if there's compliments out there, you can go last. But county residents' concerns, compliments, if you have anything, please come up to the podium, introduce yourself in what capacity you may be here, and feel free to speak with us. Hello.
Hello, Sherry Bushman, Green River City Councilwoman. Excuse my attire. I just came back from physical therapy, so ran over here, not literally. So my reason for being here is to speak about the ambulance and specifically to a comment that was made publicly from Commissioner Toman. And I'm going to quote. I would just like to challenge our cities to step up to the plate and offer to help instead of being objecting to everything we're doing. It's frustrating when you're trying to get a united plan moving forward, when you keep getting ideas thrown from the sidelines, but they're not willing to step up to the plate. So let's do some fact finding and see if Commissioner Toman's comments are true. So fact one, EMS assessment by Safe Tech Solutions in December 2015. Those are subject matter experts in the industry. Fact two, county commissioners provided funding without parameters or caps. Now for us, city, when we have like STAR that comes in, they give us financial statements. They tell us where they're going to allocate the money to, everything. and we have a set budget for it. So we're not giving out too much, right? Fact 3, ambulance committee was formed in 2021 to research and provide options. So from multiple meetings, we had about 20 plus hours. So what were those options? Cost recovery, grants, crowdfunding, membership programs, monthly fees on utilities, paramedic and physician assistants, charitable contributions, subcontract billing, EMS, centralized services. All these were actually deep dives and researched. Okay. A lot of it we could not do because of state statutes. So I'm just going to say that same conclusion results from the subject matter experts from December 5th, 2015 to consolidate the ambulance service. Fact 4, insecurity with workforce. Individuals that had a passion to be an EMS, be part of this, to become certified. While this decisions could not be made from the last 7 years, they're feeling insecure. I have a passion about that because I'm in the staffing industry. People are living paycheck to paycheck, wondering if they're going to be working. That is a horrible feeling to be in, and we should not be doing that as a community. So, number 5, a decision could have been made back in December of 2015, and yet 7 years later, we're still in the same conversations. So perhaps if it was implemented, we wouldn't have this issue now. So here we are, blaming fingers, and we should not be doing that. So could it have been prevented? Perhaps. So we have the cities, we have the obligation to be part of the process and part of the solution. So therefore, in my opinion, Toman, I'm sorry, but your statement is false. The due diligence was done by Castle Rock, Sweetwater Medics, and the ambulance committee. So right now, as I said, we as elected officials have an obligation to our community to make the sound decisions, okay? You guys have integrity, as I have integrity. We're here to be servants to the community, and we put people first and community first. There's no price on a life. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And I can second the opinion of how many hours Councilwoman Bushman and Councilman Tim Robinson from Rock Springs have put in with our committee. And we've turned over many rocks, looked at all kinds of things, crazy, not crazy. And yeah, it is a chore. It's a reason it hasn't been fixed before, because it's not easy. So, thank you. Yes.
Have you and Councilwoman Bushman or Councilmember Robinson ever been thanked for your work? Do you recall? I don't. I'd like to go on public.
Thank you.
No, I just, it brings out a good point. I don't think Councilwoman Bushman has missed it, but again, I'm not going to carry on a dialogue because this is your comment period, but I can talk to our chairman and I can say, hey, I want to thank you. I want to thank Councilman Robinson as well as Councilwoman Bushman for their work, and she's right on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I don't want to rebut what you said. I apologize if I offended you. I did not mean to offend you. I was simply responding to the fact that Chairman Smith had said Rock Springs and Green River had said they were not going to contribute any money. I don't doubt the hours you spent, because I know from the fire committee, I know you spent tons of hours. Maybe one of the great failings was maybe it wasn't more fully shared with the full commission, but that's always hard when you have a committee. We got the same criticism. So I appreciate the work you did. I did not mean to offend you in any way, but I was discouraged that neither city, they want to be players, they want to have say in what happens, but no dollars have been offered. So that's what I was responding to only.
Okay, briefly.
Real quick. So in your statement, okay, but we have been contributing. We've been contributing to possible options and solutions, which is our time and effort. Money on the table is not always everything, right? From the cities, we have our own budget that we have to contend to. We barely make payroll right now. So right now, again, this should have been resolved 7 years ago. This has nothing to do with us right now.
Yeah.
That's cities. I'm just telling you right now.
I don't want to argue with you. I
Okay.
appreciate what you've done.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Other comments from the public? We got a compliment from Commissioner Wynn, so I'll take that. You know, that's awesome. Thank
You're
you.
always looking for them.
I know, aren't I? Fishing. Excellent. Then we will move on to tab D, Granicus software presentation. And we have Christopher Peck with us online.
Morning,
Is-
y'all.
Hello.
Sally, I'm going to share my screen.
Can you introduce yourself and whoever may be with you
I
as
will.
well?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
We see you.
Uh, 1 second. There we go. Don't worry, I have my introduction slide for you all in a second. So we are here from Granicus to talk about meeting management and board management. I've been discussing this project with Sally, and I'm very excited to be presenting to commissioners today. My name is Emery Henschel. I'm an account specialist here at Granicus. I'm based out of Denver, and I have my colleague Chris here. I'll let Chris introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Beck. I'm one of the solution engineers here with Granicus.
And then I also have one of our director of sales, Bruce Frank, on the line. I forgot to add his lovely picture in here, so you're just gonna have to stare at his face in the box. So why are we here? Who's Granicus? Why are you guys giving us your time of day? So we're here to talk about meeting and board management. On my next slide, I'll cover a quick overview of who Granicus is. From my conversations with Sally, she came forward and told me that you guys are working on implementing a better board management system. There was some confusion with posting on Indeed. And she really told me you guys want to boost transparency and boost those applications, make sure people know where to go on the county website, know that they're applying for volunteer positions. And then I applaud Sally so much on this one, but she wants to continue pushing forward this paperless system that she's implemented at the county, which is a huge step. You guys are very, very far in front of a lot of others. So props to you all. But Sally wants to continue using this paperless system, improve item submission process, improve the actual packet creation, while still giving you guys those digital packets, and then cut down on late items, time spent on those last minute changes. Just kind of make Sally's life a whole lot easier, boost transparency of the county, make sure we're getting you guys the best volunteers you can for your boards. And then we have some time to end. I'm gonna have Chris just run through a quick demo so you can see what your residents will be seeing and kind of see how the system works. So Granicus is one of the largest GovTech only companies. We serve government only, including 50 states, over 14 federal agencies. We sent over 200 million plus communications during COVID. We're very far reaching. Security is one of our top priorities here at Granicus. So today we're discussing civic meeting management, which is kind of pre, during, and post meeting. So it'll be helping you guys get ready for meetings, be able to get your digital agendas, be able to help you guys with that item submission. And then during the meeting with video streaming, time stamping, minute creation, helping you all be over 85% done with those minutes by the time these meetings are over, helping you guys with the live streaming of everything. And then at the end, one-click publishing. And then, like I said, circling back to the board's portion of everything, helping you throughout that entire process. So here's just kind of what I discussed, the pre, during, and post meeting, helping you guys with the preparation, helping you guys with your in-meeting tools, capturing your meeting minutes, roll calls, actions, votes, just helping you guys continue to be paperless as a county. And like I said, boosting that transparency, getting you guys the best volunteers we possibly can with our board management tool. So that was my super quick little 3,000-foot overview, my little spiel for you all. So I'll give Chris the rest of my time so we can really show you what we're talking about.
Absolutely. I will take over the screen here. Appreciate all the commissioners and the time that you've allotted Granicus today. I wanted to give you guys a quick feel of how this solution presents itself and what kind of transparency options it puts in front of your residents. What we've got here is the city of Cheyenne. And if you navigate to their meeting page, you're gonna land here. And what we see is the Granicus video streaming portal. So we're going to take a look at the video streaming portal and some of the things that it offers. Of course, questions are welcome at any point. So if any of the commissioners have questions for me, I'm happy to answer any questions. What we have here is a listing of the upcoming meetings. So these are meetings that have yet to happen. And these are where the agendas get posted. So part of the platform that we're presenting to you guys or offering to you guys is a agenda management platform to help get those agendas put together, offer them in a digital format to all the commissioners and any of the other boards and committees, right, that you guys have. So from the back end, agendas can be published to this portal, and residents can come here and grab the agendas so they can prepare comments and be ready for the meetings prior to the meetings happening. Down here below are all the historical meetings. So these are the archives. So this is a listing of all the recordings, the agendas, and then the minutes once they've been certified and published. So if I need to go grab minutes from last October, I can. They're right here, right? Here's the thing. Residents typically don't know that they need the minutes from last October. Residents know what they're looking for. They don't know where it lives. And so even though we have all the agendas in here, we have all the minutes documents organized and easy to find, it can still be finding a needle in a haystack if I'm looking for a particular topic. So what this platform does is allow residents to find whatever little piece of information they're looking for, whatever item, right, whatever piece of information, and go straight to it. So let's say I was looking for updating in parking laws, right? Maybe I want to look through some of the parking ordinances. The system's about to search through every single agenda, every single staff report or item submission form, and all the attachments related to all the items for all the agendas for all of these meetings, right? And if we scroll down, you can see this goes back a number of different years. So I'm just going to click search right now in parking. And look at that. It went and found the specific items, right, that contain the word parking. It'll let me know if it finds that item in an item title. It'll also let me know if the word parking appears in one of the supporting documents that goes with one of those items. And so I just searched all of those meetings and I'm finding just the specific items that are related to my search term. Now, let's say this is the item that I'm looking for, right? This is the parking ordinance that I was originally looking for. This is from a meeting back in May or in March of 2020. If I click on this item, it will now take me into that board meeting, and it's going to fast forward me to the point in time in that meeting where that item was discussed. So I don't have to sit through the entire board meeting. I can skip straight to the point in time that I want to listen to all the discussion and everything that happened with that item. We'll also have all the other items that were discussed in the meeting down here and timestamped as well. So if I wanted to skip and listen to something else that happened in the meeting, I can click on that item. It takes me to that point in time. So that's the video streaming platform and the way it presents itself. The other thing that we're kind of putting in front of you guys, besides kind of the agenda management platform to kind of help compile that agenda and help the county organize all that information for the commissioners, is a boards and commissions tool. But I wanted to just pause right there and see if we had any questions about the video streaming platform and kind of anything I've shown so far.
Do you, Chris, archive previous? So before the contract, would you go back, and how many years would you go back to make it searchable?
Yeah, I noticed you guys have some pretty good video production. You're running a hybrid meeting, right? We've got some people online, we've got some people in person. You guys are switching camera angles. So if you have those recordings, those can be uploaded into our platform and stored. Timestamping can be done during the meeting, right? As a byproduct of taking minutes. And so we can actually start to build our minutes while the meeting's happening, but it can also be done after the fact. So all of your historical videos can be uploaded into our platform. And if we want, we can even go back in and timestamp those historically. So we can get those timestamps in there. Absolutely.
Thank you. Other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Chris, this is Commissioner Wendling. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Just something that came quickly to mind as I look at this. Granicus does provide our own video streaming as well as storage. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now we're presently doing YouTube. And if I'm not mistaken, YouTube could at any point in time cut us off. And if that were the case, we would end up not having a streaming platform. Is that correct?
Yes, somewhat. So YouTube does,
okay.
Yeah, YouTube does own all the content that gets uploaded to its platform. right?
Wow.
So whether I'm a YouTuber and I've got a channel there to entertain people, or right, the county is posting its public meetings up there. The second you upload that video, YouTube owns that content, and they
Okay.
can do whatever they want with it. So what can happen is on contentious items, right? Someone goes and flags the video, right? I'm frustrated with what's happening and I flag the video. Well, YouTube could report that video and remove it. And so it's not a great platform for that particular use case, because you guys don't have control, and things like that can and do happen. The other thing that'll happen is they can put ads on the videos, right? So I'm trying to watch the county board meeting, and now I'm watching commercials for whatever YouTube might be advertising. So those are some of the problems with that platform. And all of this is kind of countered with the Granicus video streaming platform. We can also simulcast the videos out to YouTube. So one of the things we don't want to force you guys to do is now alienate this community that you've built in YouTube that's accustomed to watching the videos there. So our platform can simultaneously send the video stream. We can, the same way I'm participating in this meeting via Zoom. Well, I'd be able to watch the meeting while it's happening right from your website. We're going to have a copy of that video right on your website. So that can be kind of the main destination, but we can also then send the videos to YouTube so the people that are accustomed to viewing them there can still do so. But then if those things happen with YouTube, right, we have the true master copy on your website. And you guys aren't actually paying your website provider to house the videos. All of these are actually stored in Granicus. We just make them available and searchable and viewable from your website without you guys actually having to host or own the data.
Thank you. One other question. With Granicus, do I understand it correctly that not only the commission, but the other boards that are part of the county could use this as well?
Yes. So anyone who meets in your meeting room that you're in right now, if any of your other boards, committees, commissions meet in that room, you can record and video stream those meetings. This is a truly unlimited platform. So Granicus was one of the first organizations to ever video stream a municipal government meeting. We kind of invented the government video streaming industry. And so we have over 2,000 clients that are doing this, and we started doing this in 1999. Some of our customers have videos all the way back to 1999. I could pull up a number of accounts right now where you could go watch every single board meeting at that organization for over 2 decades. So we don't charge for the amount of data that you put into the system. Those guys are paying the same amount today as they were back then, right? It's unlimited storage, unlimited boards, unlimited meetings. It doesn't matter how long they go. All that stuff's part of the platform.
So therefore the storage would come off our hard drives and go on yours? No?
Exactly right. Yes. And it doesn't also,
okay.
right, we can also store videos outside of board meetings, right? So if you guys have a big festival there in the county, you guys create some promotional videos, right, to try and drive traffic to that, you could upload those into Granicus, and we can create a special folder for them so residents could go look through, promotional content. Really anything you guys are doing, if it's a video, you can upload it to Granicus, we'll store it and make it available on the website.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Absolutely.
Other questions before Chris moves on? Yes, go ahead, Mary.
I do have a question. So if at some point in the future, a commission decided not to stay involved with Granicus, then we
Sure.
would have lost all of our, if it's not stored on our website, we would lose all of that if we quit paying into Granicus.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So all the content that we store for you, yes, we're going to hold it in our data centers and we're going to store all that content for you, but you guys own it. So everything that gets recorded into our platform or everything you guys upload into our platform is still the county's. And so if you were to use us for a number of years and then leave, we would just give you all that content back. And it's actually part of our contract that we have to give the data back to you, and it has to be delivered in the same format that it was received. So you guys don't lose anything if you were to leave us at any point. It's all your stuff. We just give it back to you, right? We just need to put it somewhere. So you guys would open up a hard drive for us, or some cloud storage space where we could download all that data for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question.
All right,
So the
Chris,
other
what
part of
else you
this,
got?
Yeah, the other part of this platform I wanted to highlight real quick was the boards and commissions tool. And this is a tool that's designed to do a number of things. So a lot of times people don't understand the amount of work that goes into appointing and managing all of the board appointments across all the boards, committees, commissions, and authorities that you guys have. Now, you guys are probably, I'm assuming that the county board is the appointing authority for a number of those boards. So you guys probably have some visibility into the amount of change that is happening, right? As you guys appoint new members to new boards, you can see that. But in the back end of it, right, someone's got to keep track of the start date and the end date of all of those terms, times all the seats on all the boards and committees and commissions that you guys have. It's actually a ton of information to keep track of, and most organizations only have a spreadsheet to manage all of this. So the boards and commissions tool, it's very, very, very common. The boards and commissions tool helps automate all of that. So one, we're going to give you guys an online application. So if I want to volunteer to serve on one of the boards, I have a really easy way to let you guys know I'm interested. So there's an online application part of this. But the other thing that this tool does is make it so we never have to go back and update the website. Right? You guys probably, I would imagine, and I don't know how your terms expire there specifically, but when terms are expiring, right, you're appointing new members, and that I have to imagine that happens at some kind of regular cadence. Well, what happens then is, right, now we've appointed a new member to the board. Well, someone has to keep track of that in our spreadsheet and make sure that we say, oh, now it's Bill who's on the board. Right. Well, then we also have to update the website. So not only do I have to keep my spreadsheet up to date, but then I have to have someone go and update that information on the website. Boards and commissions eliminates all of that. So it gives us, we're going to remove the spreadsheet with the backend, the database that comes with this platform. And then as there's, right, so if this board had a vacancy, when that vacancy gets appointed, as soon as that vacancy gets appointed, the vacancy is removed from the website. So we just keep the database up to date and the website updates in real time. So we're kind of taking the step of going back to the website and making sure that's correct. We just remove that from the process, right? Now we just need to keep the back end up to date and the website will always reflect whatever that shows. Now there's a couple really cool things about this platform, right? One, I can see a list of all the boards, and if I want more information about what that board does, I just click on it and I'm going to go to the board details screen. This is where I can see if there's any vacancies. We can see if there's any expired terms. We can also see if there's terms ending soon. These are not vacancies yet, but they will be in the next 90 days. So this allows me to go and preemptively apply for a vacancy before it even happens. So you guys have candidates to replace as soon as that vacancy hits, right? We can also see the member roster here. I can come over here and see a list of all the vacancies. So if I'm just interested in serving, I can see exactly what positions are available to me across all the different boards. And it differentiates between the types of vacancies, right? The Aviation Advisory Board here, they have a term ending soon. It's not a vacancy yet, but it will be. So I could go preemptively apply for that. And then if I want to do so, I can go to the board, click the apply button. And now this application is fillable online. I don't have to download a form and fill that out in with my handwriting and then bring that into you guys. I can type all this information in. It'll save my application. So if you guys ask me a tough question I want to think about and come back to, it'll save my application. I don't have to have a username or a password to get back to that. It just uses my email address. And then I can click submit and the system will automatically send that application to the correct person in your organization. Right. I'm sure your clerk is kind of managing this, right? And you guys are elected officials, so you have an election process to get appointed, but that's not the case for all the boards. Well, it might not just be one person in your organization that manages that particular board. Oftentimes there's a meeting liaison who's responsible for one of the committees. So that application, when it gets submitted, if it's for that committee, goes straight to that meeting liaison. Right. And so it can kind of help automate who's getting the information. And then we give residents an easy way to do all of this online. And we just streamline the process and remove updating the website out of that. I can go into, on the agenda management stuff, I can spend over an hour showing all the stuff that's in that platform, and I can do about the same in the boards and commissions tool. So there's a ton of stuff that's in here. We really just wanted to present a high level overview of what these solutions do and how it would look to your residents, to the commissioners, and then give you guys the opportunity to ask us any questions that you have. So hopefully this has given you a good feel of kind of what we're offering here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My question's for Sally. Sally, how does this help you? What does this do for your life?
This is fantastic. I absolutely love this.
Good.
But then we won't need Sally.
No, that's not true. You absolutely need Sally, because this is what happens, right? Sally has so many things that she's responsible for, a number of which aren't really even on her job description. And these are some of those things that take up more time than really her job warrants, right? So she has plenty of other things she needs to be doing, and this is just going to free her up to do some of those other things. And Sally, sorry to speak for you. I hope you agree with everything I just said there.
Absolutely, I agree. It's less duplication of services and making errors, like he said, with having to do the spreadsheets and then having to upload it to the website. And we're just doing multiple steps right now that this is more a one-stop shop.
Good. What if I love spreadsheets, Chris? No, I'm just kidding.
Still keep the spreadsheet. A lot of people do as a backup, but
That's true. Cost. There we go. Let's talk about that. Oh, wait.
Sure.
Well, you can think about that and work on the discount while Commissioner Shanefield has a question for you.
I'm just curious as the time frame. So if we were to decide to move forward, how far out are you guys and how long would it take to implement across all? I mean, we have multiple boards, applications and things like that. And then also time frame as to how long it would take to archive a certain number of previous things. So how long before we could be fully on board?
So we'd probably have two separate deployments for this. So we'd roll out the agenda platform separately from boards and commissions. And the reason for that is the agenda platform is probably going to take a little bit longer. We usually do a data import for the boards and commissions. So we have all your current board members and historical appointments in there. In case Sally gets like a FOIA request and needs to look up historical appointments, we'll have all that in there so she can go grab that information really quickly. So that data import can kind of, depending on, you guys getting us that information, us getting it into the system, that can take a little while sometimes. The standard rollout for the agenda platform is probably 3 to 6 months, whereas the boards and commissions tool, we can roll out a little bit quicker, again, assuming we get that data from you guys and can get it uploaded pretty quickly. I'd say that's a 6 to 8 month rollout, or sorry, 6 to 8 week rollout before we're done. So the boards and commissions can be in there a little bit quicker. You guys are already have the video, so we can, that's already in place, and we can kind of add these other things into it, which simplify the process a little bit. So I'd say 3 to 6 on the agenda and probably 6 to 8 weeks or month and a half to 2 months on the boards and commissions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Chris.
I do have a question.
Chris, I keep trying to get to the cost, and they keep
they won't let you.
They keep having better questions for you.
Well,
Commissioner Tillman.
Can we just purchase the boards and commission packet without the agenda? Because our website is pretty robust with our agenda packet, minutes, videos.
Yeah, and that's
as it stands right now. So could we just buy into that one? I know HR department has already done a lot of work. It's just the platform we have right now makes it look like a job application.
Yeah, and so absolutely, these products can be sold independently of each other. I'll say this, right? The presentation of the agenda, right? Getting that information in front of the public is one thing. Putting all that information together and getting it ready for you guys, the commissioners, is a ton of work. And out of all, and I'll let Sally speak for herself, but I would think out of all of the things that we're offering, the agenda platform is going to save the most amount of Sally's time. So that platform in and of itself, so much time and effort goes into creating that board packet for you commissioners. And it really, really helps with that. We didn't really get into any of that. We just didn't have time. I know I saw your agenda. You guys have a lot of stuff to get through. I don't want to add to that. But the agenda piece is it's fundamental, and it really, really helpful. But absolutely, you could buy these products separately from each other for sure. That's what the county wants to do.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay, I've got a pricing summary in front of me, so it's spoiled. But go ahead, Chris. Show us what you got.
Well, pricing is going to actually go back to Emery, so I'm going to let her talk.
All right, Emery.
Yeah.
I apologize. I am having some technical difficulties getting the quote up today. I sent it over to Bruce if he can pull it up, but I was actually able to work out some special pricing from the sheet that you guys have in front of you after talking to Tim and IT. I learned that you all don't enjoy having like future uplift costs. So I was able to even out the pricing over 3 years. I know that was a big point of discussion with Kim and I. So I apologize. I am not able to have this quote pulled up, but as you can see in front of you, it does break it down by each product. And as Chris was saying, you don't have any like hidden fees with this. You get unlimited storage, unlimited users, unlimited boards and commissions. Like what you see in front of you is what you're going to get. We aren't going to charge you for anything extra down the road. So we do try to be as transparent with you all as possible as well. So with that, you can also see all the lines are broken out into the product families. So if for some reason you all just wanted to move forward with boards and commissions, you would always kind of like a la carte and add on the agenda package and the video package later on, kind of do it bit by bit, whatever is going to suit you all best. I think I finally have this quote. I apologize for that delay. I know you all have a busy schedule in front of you, so I'm sorry for this. Do you have any questions about anything that I just said though with the quote in front of you?
Not seeing any, no.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you had it.
Oh, no, I do have it. I'm not seeing any questions among the commission
perfect.
here for you. Are there any? No? Okay.
Are you the only one that has it?
I have it.
It's in your email.
Oh, it's in a separate email. Okay, thank you.
No, we decided to share it with all of you. It's all good. Well, Emery, so you said this quote in front of us is, you have something a little different?
I do. I did tweak it a little bit here. I now have it ready. Sorry about that. Don't you love a
That's-
tactical
that's-
difficulty at 9 in the morning? Okay. I apologize for that. Can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Perfect. So at Granicus, we break things out into one-time fees and your subscription costs. So these are gonna be your one-time fees for setup. What you'll see here is the boards and commissions setup. All these other $0 line items are just so our team kind of knows what they're doing with the project. Those are just kind of for internal tracking. This would be the actual piece of hardware to run your video meetings. That has the ability to simulcast out to YouTube, Facebook Live. That's going to start at 720p automatically. This is our brand new hardware that just came out. It's really top of the line, really, really great security. And I'm happy to provide you more information with that after we get off the call. Online video training just to help Sally, anyone else who would be time stamping, taking minutes, showing them how to really fully use the system. That's dedicated training with our product team, just for you all. And then you'll actually have access to that recording. So whenever someone new comes on board, you all will be able to reference back to that. Setup and configuration for the hardware, shipping, very standard here, all these one-time fees. Do you have any questions there?
That's
So then
quite a bit more than
here's-
the first one we saw.
Yeah.
It was $25.50 for the one-time fees originally, and a $16.2 total.
Do you might have the quote without video, because I did send 2 different quotes over to Tim and
Ah.
Sally. Is that it,
I got
Commissioner?
that one open, yeah, so, okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I just wanted to include everything on this one. And like we were saying, if you guys just wanted to go with boards and commissions, just want to go with agenda, this can all be parceled out. So this is all completely flexible. And then here would be the total subscription fees. So like I said, with the agenda management, you have unlimited people that can contribute to it. You can have unlimited boards using this. You can have unlimited storage in here, unlimited agendas, boards and commissions. This will, same thing, give you unlimited boards and commissions. Anyone can log in, manage the boards, really no caps here. So you can have unlimited users in these systems. And like I said, there won't be like some late add-on fee for more people logging in. And then this would be for all the video storage, the time stamping, the minutes, that's simulcasting out to YouTube. And then this is what like actually makes the hardware run.
Questions for Emery? Do we have any time frame of when we need to make a decision for you? Does that matter?
I know from my conversations with Sally and Tim, we were kind of working with that June budget. But we're flexible on our end, but I know that was kind of Sally's hopeful timeline.
Thank you. Tim, do you have any comments?
Yeah, that was my question.
Thank you. Yes.
Sorry, I'm making you get up. I'm just curious about the cybersecurity end of that, the system and everything. I mean, I know that they said they have a new system and it's super safe, but what does that look like for you?
Sure, I
No,
can.
Go
I can
ahead.
talk about that a
Yeah,
little bit.
Answer that one for me because I don't know what you're.
Yeah, so Granicus uses Amazon Web Services. So we have we have 2 different data centers across the country. So the way this works technically is we kind of send you guys a server, and that's going to do the local recording. So that's where we're going to plug the cameras into. That's how we're going to, get all this information into Granicus. From there, it gets sent to our data center. So we have a content delivery network that allows people to watch these videos from wherever they are. So effectively, once it leaves that server, every person who might want to watch any of this content is going to access that through our data centers, never through your local network. So that server's typically not even on your like connected to your computers and all the other things on your network in your county. So it's kind of in its own isolated place, and then that information gets sent to our data center for distribution for anyone who'd want to watch it. So that way we're not tying up your bandwidth there locally, and we have a FedRAMP authorized. The infrastructure is FedRAMP authorized, meaning the federal government, the Department of Defense, sends their emails through the same data center. So it's a very, very secure infrastructure and has armed guards on site. We have enough kerosene to run for 2 weeks off the grid. So if it doesn't have power, it can power itself for 2 weeks. It is a very, very secure infrastructure and setup.
Do you use a backup data center as well? So it would be housed in 2 locations, or would it just be at one?
Correct. Housed in 2 locations. One is in Minnesota, one is in Virginia. So, if we have a disaster that takes out both of those, our videos at the county level probably are not the biggest problem we have.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Did you have anything to add to that, Tim, or?
No, I don't. I think it's a nice platform. I think there's a lot of work we have to do. I don't have to figure all that out, but yeah.
Thank you.
It'll interchange and everything like that.
We'll make it work, whatever we have to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim always does, doesn't he?
I know he does, but I just don't want to. Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Okay. Then time to look into this, or do you want to take any action now? We look at our budget as we add this to our budget items that we are working through over the next couple of weeks.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Wendling.
Yeah, we talk about making investments now, why we have some soft money available and that type of thing, i.e. Through certain ways of working with the CARES money in that, and how it's used throughout our budget. And we're always talking about do the things now with that type of money, because it'll be long-term. It's not soft, it goes away. So I think if there's a time to do this, I know our application forms have been difficult, I'll just to say the least.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I like the security that's involved. I like the stuff that is important, user-friendly for our people in the county or anybody else that wishes to use it. So I just, there's no reason, if we're thinking about moving forward, I think we should move forward. In fact, if we're ready for a motion, I'm ready to make one.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question for Christopher that just came to me, and that's you had mentioned the software could also be used for our boards that are affiliated with us. So would they have like separate passwords, systems that would allow them, so there is an interface for confidentiality concerns? Would that all be systematically different?
Absolutely. Yeah. Boards and commissions has user permissions. So effectively, like I was talking about that meeting liaison, right? So maybe they handle the arts commission for the county. And so all the applications go to them. When that person goes to sign into boards and commissions, they can only see the applicants who have submitted applications to the arts commission, and they can only see the members that are appointed to the arts commission. So they, kind of have a siloed view where they can only see their stuff, and you guys get to determine who has access to what. The system also can tie into a single sign-on. So if you have internally within IT an Active Directory system, people can use the same password that they use to sign into their county-issued computer to sign into Granicus.
Other questions?
I have a follow-up question to that. So I'm not sure if Commissioner Lloyd, I was thinking that we were talking about actually using it for meetings potentially. We have our planning and zoning and things like that, our economic development coalition. Would it be available for them? How would that work? Not the
Same thing.
application. Okay.
Yep. So
perfect.
for people who like, I have an item that I want to put in front of the commissioners. I'm going to sign into the agenda software. I'm going to type up my, my staff report or my item submission, info, put my attachments in there, and then the software takes that item, compiles it with all the other ones, and creates a packet for the board. So it simplifies Sally's work on that side. And so that the same kind of thing. I'm Joe in Public Works. I only submit things up to the Planning Commission. I'd only be able to see items on those agendas and only be able to see the agendas for that board.
Okay. So we could have, not because Sally wouldn't be running the agenda for planning and zoning. It would go to a different
Correct.
person. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
And that is built into this pricing. It wouldn't be additional. Say we have 5 boards now and
Yep.
we end up adding an additional one in the future, it's still okay. Okay.
Totally. Unlimited boards, unlimited users, none of that affects the price. The pricing is not based off that.
Thank you.
But it must be videoed from this room, though.
I mean, actually, technically, we can do some things, with IT. So, I'm not there, obviously. So using Zoom teleconference solutions, we can kind of enable some remote meeting options. Typically, right, the server that is going to run the video streaming platform is going to be in your room or somewhere close to the room you guys are in right now. And so that would be kind of the meeting streaming location. But if you guys have alternate meeting locations, so if there's like another meeting room in a different building, we could send you a second server to that location, or you guys could potentially move the server from this one to that one to facilitate meetings in other locations. So there's a couple different ways to accommodate that using teleconference, multiple servers, or moving a server.
That's why he's the solution specialist right there. He has all the answers.
I try to make things work.
Yeah, thank you. That's very comprehensive.
Well, I guess my only other comment is Sally still has to be involved. Someone has to feed the information in, though, so it doesn't
Absolutely.
take that away from what she already has to do as far as providing that information.
Hence my statement before, you absolutely still need Sally.
Mary, it would just be separate steps, less steps than what we currently do to manage the packets and agendas and the minutes. This allows us one click, if you will, to get everything organized instead of what we do now is 10 steps. You get to see the end result, so you don't know all the steps,
Right.
but there are multiple. So
Yes.
this is the cost savings for that to allow other things to be done.
Sally, how many hours do you spend building the packet for the commissioners before a meeting?
It just depends because as I receive the information, I get everything organized as it comes in, scan it in, save it, rename it, and then I have to wait for everything to be finalized to get everything linked. And then I have to then combine all of that together to upload it to the website. So to quantify the number of hours, I do it as it comes in.
Sure.
I guess maybe 5 to 7 total if you were doing it that way.
Sounds like the holdups, the chairman.
All right. Could be.
Chris,
It-
I know that you touched on the, when we did our initial presentations with the chairman being able to approve that right through that system as well, rather than to have to do double steps on that as well. He could see the
Absolutely.
agenda right from there and approve it.
That's correct. Yeah. So, every organization is a little bit different about how their board members interact with the agenda. If any of you commissioners are involved in reviewing or approving items prior to it getting to the agenda, you guys would also have access to the system. And when it's your turn to review or make sure that information is correct, you get an email. You click on the link in the email, it takes you right to the item. All the information's there. You click approve, and then Sally knows it's ready to go. So that's part of this as well, as giving you guys, visibility into the approval process, into draft documents. If that's something you guys want to do, the system can be set up that way. So you could potentially see an agenda before it's published, before it's finalized. Again, if that's the way you guys want it to work.
Any other comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Lloyd.
Thank you. Just a couple quick thoughts. I do like the potential of two things in this system. And that's number one, creating a better system for the board application system, because in general, that's just been a disaster the last year. I'm going to just be honest. I've heard more complaints from constituents and people trying to apply for the board for that. And also some of our own appointments have been kind of a disaster based upon that system.
Mhm.
Second of all, I do like the fact that it could be a tool used for some of our other organizations. Where my struggle at this point is, there's two quotes, depending on the one we look at, of around $16,000 to $22,000 a year for annual upkeep. I just don't know if the value of what we would receive from that is worth that cost. I think for me, hearing Sally talk about the process that she puts into it, it'd be nice to have a little more information for me of that time savings, so I can take a look at, are we actually going to, what's the savings, how much that's really going to free her up. It sounds like at this point, 5 to 7 hours a month, but that would be my only hesitation to the system. Is just that value add to the cost to what we get. But I do see two huge value adds already. And I think the third value add could be the time that it does save Sally to do other tasks and what that would create. So, because I do think there's other pieces that we could utilize Sally for that we miss as a commission, as such as like press releases, getting information out. And that would be down the road discussions. And so I think those are pieces, but I still am not 100% sure if the value add is there for me at this point, 100%.
Sure. And that makes sense. Not having visibility into all that process of what Sally goes through every month to build the packet, or, I don't know if you guys have multiple meetings a month. So one of the things we've done prior to getting to this point is go through a deep dive of that process and the way the software works. And we actually have a recording of that meeting. So if it would help, we'd happy to provide that to the commissioners so they can review and kind of get some visibility into what we're actually talking about and where some of those time savings are. Because, when I asked Sally that question and the answer was 5 to 7 hours, that's just creating the packet, right? That's taking all the finalized documents and getting it into one PDF for you guys. There's more work that goes in at the department level to get the items submitted, right? And the system helps automate the entire process. So there's certainly more time savings than just the 5 to 7 hours. That's just kind of directed right at Sally.
And that's per meeting, Sally? Yeah, not
per meeting, per board, right? So all the other boards go through this process as well.
Cindy Lane.
Chairman, Commissioners, hi, I'm Cindy Lane, Sweetwater County Clerk. And I just wanted to clarify that we're not asking or looking into this program to save Sally time. That is not why this came up. It was to streamline the boards, make sure the information is correct for the boards. It has nothing to do with Sally's workload or anything like that. We were just asked to look for a program. I just wanted that on the record because Sally does a great job at what she does in her position. And this would, for me, when I look at it, is more the security of if we were to look at videos, because currently it is out on YouTube. We upload them to the website. I upload one portion. The whole video isn't there. It allows for one. I try to do the larger portion. But if you want to find out what happens after executive, you have to go find part 2. So we are looking at that in a way that streamlines for the community to find the videos, keep them safe. I'm always looking for the security aspect of our information out there because it is a public record once it's recorded. If we lose it, I don't want to have to try to explain that. But I just wanted to clarify that this has, for me, absolutely nothing to do with the amount of hours that go into putting the packet together. It's about streamlining the information.
Thank you.
So quick question for you. So it comes out of your budget then?
I believe it was asked by the commissioners to look for it. I don't care whose budget it comes out of because you put the money in my budget anyway. So it would come out of there. Just put it on in and I'll make sure it gets paid.
It's Apple.
That's fair.
You'll guard it, make sure it comes out.
I will make sure it happens.
Oh. The
Commissioner Shanefield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for me, the value add on this is on the public side. It allows the public to access everything in one spot. I got onto the City of Cheyenne's website as they were going through it. I did search the archives, and even for me, I struggle with what meeting we talked about, what, when, and what was the conversation exactly. And we have a lot going on, and the public being able to get in and search whatever they're looking for. I think it would be beneficial for all of us in that respect, but this is complete transparency for the public to have access to everything that we're doing here, all in one location, all one video for every meeting, and also making it very streamlined for the department heads, for elected officials, and for Sally to get everything clean and correct and in one place and saved in one place as well. So if we had something happen to our website, it would save all of this information that's historical public information. So that's where I see the value is
Right.
being.
Thank you.
Agree.
What's your pleasure then, commissioners? We've had a lot of talk.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with Commissioner Roy over here. I would like to watch some of the videos, get a little more information. I don't doubt that it's a great program, but my concern is that 16,000, and if we want to backload old files, then it's going to cost more. The boards and commission was our main concern when we first started looking at this. I mean, we could try an a la carte thing, but I would like to see more information in some of the videos as to how it works, because I think our website is pretty complete as far as we have agendas, videos in one spot. The board thing, I know Ashley and HR has done a lot of work trying to streamline that. It's just that the system they use does make it look like a job application. But we have tweaked that system and put the requirements on some of the boards that had special requirements. So that's now been included to help clarify some issues with maybe misappointing some people because we didn't know all the qualifications for a special board. So I would not be in favor of taking action today. I would like to see some more videos.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Wendling.
Emery, question for you.
Yes.
Total cost of the package if we were to approve it today?
Today, if you guys wanted to do the video as well as the boards and commissions and agenda management,
Yes.
with the flat 3-year that I gave you all, it'd be $23,527.93 for a 3-year contract each year. And just that one-time upfront fee of $75.50 for the setup, for the configuration, for our deployment teams to go in and make sure everything's just up to your standards.
Thank you.
Does that include all our coupons, Emery?
Yes.
Okay.
Just checking.
And another question, I believe, Mr. Chairman, we asked Sally and myself to look into it, and we involved Tim.
Mhm.
And I think general consensus, Sally, is this is the group's recommendation to approve this. Tim?
Why do you sit so far back, Tim?
I mean, it's Sally and mine.
So he does- so he doesn't have to talk.
So, yeah, so I don't have to say much. From my understanding, I didn't believe we were coming to the board today for a approval or recommendation to move forward with any decisions. I think the idea today was to get your feedback on whether this type of product made sense, how far we wanted to take it, and whether we wanted to explore it. I don't think we've explored everything we need to explore to make sure that this is the right decision. So my recommendation would be to not make a motion today to approve this, but to look at this as a possible opportunity to maybe budget for it in this budget session, if it makes sense. I think it might be wise to bring another vendor in and just have a comparison to see what the difference is and to make sure that we're making the right decision.
Do we know another vendor?
I have a couple that I've looked at. I've just reached out to them, but they haven't contacted me back.
Okay.
I would say I think Granicus is probably a leader in this environment, and they do a great job. And so I think this would be a good product if this is the way we wanted to go. But I don't think the board needs to make a decision today. I think we need to look at this as a possibility to maybe put it in the budget. And if that's something we want to do.
Thank you.
So that's my thoughts on it.
Emery? Stay there.
Yes.
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, how long? I didn't look real close. I didn't look. How long is your bid good for?
This current quote is
Or quote?
good
Thank you.
until, let's see, I have it through the end of the month.
So it's good till May.
Yeah, and I will update this one and send you all over this updated quote as soon as we get off this call.
Okay. So I think it would be appropriate to say we should try to get another vendor for the next meeting, our next May meeting. And if that's possible.
I'd say if the committee, this group feels like it's necessary, I don't know.
I don't feel it's that necessary. I'm just out of respect for my other commissioners, but I'm ready to move on it because I've looked at it. Sally's one that's going to have to work with it. Tim says it's integratable. I'm hearing good stuff about it. The other aspect of it is it's a venue that appears to me similar to Dude Solutions, for facilities and grounds. This is one for boards and as well as minutes and that type of thing. Plus it provides security and that type of thing. So I'm just trying to be somewhat respectful, but at the same token, I already said I'm ready to move on it because I'm part of the committee and the committee's recommending, hey, this is what would work for us. We know even within the state where it's being used, we know federal government. All the data is there. So I'll just say right now, for me, myself, I'm ready to make a motion to approve it, but maybe we need to see where the other commissioners are. I think we know where Commissioner Tolman is, and I presume that's where Commissioner Lloyd is. So thank you.
Thank you. Then I will ask, what is the commission's pleasure? What would you like to do here?
Well, let's make it easy. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the cost to bring, gosh darn it, I want to say it right.
Granicus?
Granicus, thank you.
I know
To bring Granicus as far as for our minutes, as well as boards at a cost of $23,527.93 per year on a 3-year contract. Did I say that right, Emery?
You did, yes.
All right, thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Then discussion at all?
Just a
We've
quick,
had much. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a quick point. I was actually ready to move forward with this after hearing Commissioner Tolman, not Commissioner Tolman, Commissioner Shanfield speak, because I really think one thing this commission has worked on and we want to do is become more transparent. And I think this provides that option and concept to be more transparent. But then I'll be honest, as I waver, my concern became when our IT director said he wasn't 100% sure. And that's a concern to me. If Tim, and I agree with the committee, I respect the committee's decision. And when I thought the whole committee was behind it, I was ready to move forward with a yes vote. But my concern was with Tim's wavering. That does concern me. So at this point, I would probably vote no.
Well, and I think some of us have just asked for more time to study it, and I respect Tim's advice to give us time to do that.
Sure. Let's drag this out a little longer. Tim?
Okay, I don't want to dissuade anybody because that wasn't really
You already
my
have.
intent. So I apologize if that, but when I came up today, I thought that's what we were doing. I didn't understand that we were going to be going forward with a full thing, or maybe I would have been maybe a little more prepared to do this. I think that if we went ahead with this, it would be a great product for the public. Okay. So I do like this product, and I wanted to just make sure that I was supportive of moving forward with Granicus. I'm not even sure that this other product is, if there is anything that compares, just other than that, there's a few out there that do board management. Okay. So because we may have to, let me ask Emery a question. What's the odds of this price continuing on for, say, 3 months?
Can you clarify your question? Sorry, I don't follow.
Yeah, so you said the quote was good for 30 days,
Yes.
but will it go up in 30 days? Or do you think that it would stay the same for say 90 days to get us in the next budget cycle?
I cannot say that it wouldn't go up if we were to wait a full budget cycle. This is just the current pricing. I mean, the pricing is able to change at any given moment, but this is the current price that is saved for you guys on this quote.
Okay, so there's no guarantee that in June, well, we'd be able to get this deal. So we
Correct.
would
I mean,
have to take advantage of money this year to be able to do it.
I would most likely be able to extend this pricing into June for you all for that budget cycle, but past that, there are no guarantees
Okay.
because that is out of my control.
All right. I don't want to have this go into this long drawn out process either. The other question I had was the ability to pull video back from YouTube and be able to upload that. I'm not sure of a way to do that. And Chris, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you can totally do that. So from your admin account within YouTube, you can download the videos individually, and then those would be uploaded into Granicus. So we typically take an MP4 format, which I think is what YouTube is going to give you as you download anyway. So you guys would absolutely be able to do that.
All right. I wanted to be clear that if that wasn't possible, that we knew what we were getting into.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
How much would the additional cost though to download past videos?
Just my time, somebody on my team's time. That's it.
Yep.
To Granicus.
We had that discussion yesterday.
Yeah.
You're an exempt employee.
Yeah, I don't cost anything, right? No.
Right.
Well, it's just, I think the whole commission should have time to research this morning and it kind of hit us fast, you know.
Well, excellent. Then now's the time. We have a motion and a second, and we've had good discussions. So all those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and opposed say nay.
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 It is defeated currently. So we will
Back.
revisit this later, I am sure. Thank you. Thank you, Chris and Emery, Bruce. Appreciate your time, and
Thanks to the commission.
good looking product.
Thanks for the
Note
commission
today,
for all
but-
that extra time. We'll
Yeah,
get
it
you those
doesn't-
videos and
Thank
happy
you.
to do this
Yeah,
again
thank
if need
you.
be. Yeah, absolutely.
It was fun. We'd love to do it again.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Tab E, well behind schedule.
Sorry, guys.
Linda not with us today, but Laura is here with us. So Laura, introduce yourself and let's visit about this letter.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Commissioners, Laura Schmidt-Pizzato, Southwest Counseling. I am here today to request signing a letter in support of our state application with the Division of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. And it basically is a requirement of the state because of our relationship with the county to verify that we are tax exempt for the federal government. So the entire purpose of this letter is really just to comply with that federal requirement that they do not contract with anybody who is refusing to pay taxes. The letter would also be used for other grants that we apply for, especially with SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Administration at the federal level, just to prove our compliance with the federal tax standing.
Good. Thank you. Questions?
A legal question. I know you did not begin as a tax exempt entity. So do you have a tax exempt number and a special tax exempt status? Or are you just writing on the counties?
We've actually always been tax exempt. We've been with the county for since our inception.
So you don't have 503C separately, or is just because you're considered a county entity?
Correct.
Mr. De Leon, are you?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, so I believe that Southwest started out as a 501c3 at one point in time, did not? So, okay, so then what's that?
It's always been under the county.
Well, I will say that I will say that in the history that I saw, that the Southwest was not always part of the county.
No, it wasn't at the beginning.
And so there was a change at one point in time. And so there should I could certainly talk with Southwest in terms of clarifying that history. But I don't know that that has any bearing on the current circumstances. And I think that the letter is consistent with what the request is asking for, which is to get the federal grants and monies that are being asked for. I don't know when it's due. Commissioner Chairman and I discussed that, but that's the only thing that I had looked at.
Yeah, I don't think there's any, I mean, there may be some questions about the past. I'm not sure, but today you're tax exempt. Today you are part of the county. So I don't think there's much of an issue with the letter.
Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yes.
like to make a motion to approve the letter for Southwest Counseling for this particular grant and for all others in this calendar year,
And
authorize chairman to sign.
thank you. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Excellent.
Thank you. all.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Kayla McDonald, National Economic Development Week 2022 proclamation.
Good morning. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to read it first and then we can go into the events or how you want to proceed, but I'm open to whatever you want to do. So
It's your floor. You do whichever order you would like.
do you have a copy of the proclamation?
I do.
Okay, well, I'll go through just what we're doing for that week. I haven't introduced myself. So Kayla McDonald, Sweetwater Economic Development Coalition. We have not had any events for Economic Development Week in 2 years due to COVID. So this year we brought it back and we have put together a pretty great agenda for the week. We're excited to get back in front of our community and educate them on economic development. So before you, we have the schedule. So that Monday, we're going to join Johnny K at 9 a.m., give him an update of what's been going on with SEDC, talk a little bit about the programs. And then Tuesday night, we're going to join the ladies up at Beauty and Bliss and have a ladies and leadership, just a little networking event, do some probably wine tasting is what we're looking at, and then have just a program. So we are encouraging all of our businesses here in Sweetwater County that are women owned or ladies in leadership, or if you're looking at an idea of starting a business, please join us. And then on that Wednesday, we are going to bring in the group from Orbis Advantage to talk a little bit about values and strategic planning. And that is a free virtual training. You do need to register online through sweetwateredc.org for that. And then Thursday, we are partnering with Impact 307, which is a new entrepreneur group here in Southwest Wyoming, which is a partnership with the University of Wyoming. And they are doing a panel of entrepreneurs here in Sweetwater County just to get their innovation launchpad that they have just announced out in front of the community that's open right now for enrollment. So if you are looking to start a business, definitely hit them up, Impact 307, or join us on that day. And they are doing lunch. And then Friday, we are doing another virtual seminar, which is free. This is an opportunity for people who are maybe already in business that are looking to morph over to an online business platform to get some tips and tricks on how to market and to start their online business. So these are all free resources. We encourage everybody in the community to come. The Community College and Wyoming Business Council are supporting our programs and sponsoring us. I really want to thank them for their contributions, the free space of the college, the payment of our sponsor for Friday with Hannah Brett. So the Business Council, thank you. And the next thing that we will talk about that we were going to do for Economic Development Week is the panel, which is Leading Growth in Sweetwater County. That panel is on May 18th, and we encourage everybody to join us for that. That is at 6:30. And we do have a list of all of the industries that are going to be there. I've invited our County Assessor Dave Davis to be there to give us an update on the economy. And then we have the community college there to answer any questions on workforce. And we're inviting Shishi Jam, I believe is how they're pronouncing it now, and Genesis Alkali and Terra Power of Wyoming and Rocky Mountain Power to join us. So if you're available, please come. Come with questions. They are going to talk about their expansions and what the future may hold here in Sweetwater County.
What was the time on that again?
6:30, and it is at the Rock Springs campus in room 3650.
What day was that one?
May 18th, I believe it's a Wednesday.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yes. So that's Economic Development Week in a nutshell.
Good. And we've got a proclamation here.
Yes, please.
Would you like to read that? Would you like someone else to read it?
I would like somebody else to read it.
Thank you.
Whereas the International Economic Development Council is the largest professional economic development organization dedicated to serving economic developers, and whereas the International Economic Development Council provides leadership and excellence in economic development for communities, members, and partners through conferences, training courses, advisory services, and research, in-depth publications, public policy advocacy, and initiatives such as the Accredited Economic Development Organization Program and the Certified Economic Developer designation. And whereas the economic developers promote economic well-being and quality of life for their communities by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And whereas economic developers stimulate and incubate entrepreneurism in order to help establish the new generation of businesses, which is the hallmark of the American economy. And whereas economic developers are engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural, urban, local, state, provincial, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions. And whereas economic developers attract and retain high-quality jobs, develop vibrant communities, and improve the quality of life in their regions. And whereas economic developers work in the county of Sweetwater within the state of Wyoming. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the chairman and the commission of the county of Sweetwater County do hereby recognize May 9th through the 13th, 2022 as Economic Development Week.
Nicely done.
Hold on, I'm not
Keep
done
going.
yet. I had to scroll in the county of Sweetwater and remind individuals of the importance of this community celebration, which supports the expansion of career opportunities and improving quality of life. Be it further resolved that the county commission is authorized and directed to transmit an appropriate copy of this resolution to the Sweetwater County Economic Development Coalition and the International Economic Development Council. In testimony whereof, as the chairman of the commission of the county of Sweetwater County, have hereunto subscribed the names and have caused the official seal of Sweetwater County on the 3rd day of May, 2022. Now I'm finished.
Well done. Still. Excellent. What, doing a lot of work there. That's a good week. What's your pleasure, commissioners, on that?
Mr. Chairman, I would make the motion to declare the proclamation and ask the chairman to sign it's actually a resolution, isn't it?
It probably came in as a resolution, but it's a proclamation. Yeah.
Excellent. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Great. Thank you, Kayla. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you. Can we
Thanks,
grab a
Kayla.
picture
Look, a
when you
great
take a
week.
break?
Good
Take a
job.
picture.
Good
Oh,
job.
Take a break and get a
Whenever you
picture.
guys take your break. can
We
take
will
a
take a break. Now we're scheduled for 1 to 10 after 10. And I'll apologize to Ms. Marshall and the sheriff and Mr. Legursky. We will get to you after a 10-minute break. So let's do a picture and come back at quarter after 10. We're ready then, Cindy.
Okay.
Call this meeting back to order of the Board of County Commissioners, and we are moving on to a lovely stretch of our meeting, which includes Christina Marshall for much of it. So tab G, approval, request approval to purchase an emergency water rescue patrol recovery boat for the sheriff's office with coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. That is an excellent title.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, and commissioners, I will try to get you back caught up on some time.
Whoa, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Well, is the sheriff going to give us a demo ride in this boat? That's what I want to know.
Maybe. They're going to call it the Christina if it gets approved.
Nice.
Okay.
Invited to the christening party.
Okay.
Christina
Let's
party.
not get ahead of ourselves here. Okay. Okay. I will be covering the next 4 agenda items, which are all related to the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. I'm not going to repeat every single thing 4 times. So I want to first give a quick overview and then we'll dive into the project. So as a reminder, the county commission approved the use of local recovery funds for revenue loss. Already you have allocated $714,148.23 for emergency vehicles for the coroner's office and the sheriff's office. Today, these 4 agenda items represent a total of $1.7 million using that funding. If all of them are approved, there still remains an available balance of 70% of the total award. Okay. And as a reminder, the revenue loss was due to the pandemic, and all these projects are equitable to all residents of Sweetwater County for government services. We're being extremely transparent of the use of this because a grant application wasn't submitted. However, we will be audited. I'm submitting reports to U.S. Treasury, and we're following the compliance guidelines. So these projects so far that are being presented to you were delayed because of the pandemic, as well as very, very significant revenue losses to Sweetwater County. So they're a mixture of one-time purchases that eliminates multi-year debt service that should help the county move forward for multiple years. And they're also one-time maintenance projects that will have impacts for 10 to 20 years. So let's get started on this first project. So the first one, and all of them were submitted to the county's capital committee for consideration, and actually the fiscal year 22 budget. That was a strategic planning committee to assist the commissioners in decision-making. And so keep in mind that there is some time sensitivity because right now going out to bid, our purchasing director has indicated inflation costs. And then there's some places even saying you have to wait to solicit bids. So that's why we want to get started on these. So this first item that's being recommended is an emergency water rescue recovery boat that I hope you will never have to use. So it also includes a trailer. It's essential for water rescue, patrol, and recovery. The total request is $297,000. Now, a few notes. This will provide critical public safety and law enforcement services to the community. It's an allowable use. It will replace a 46-year-old recovery boat that has become unreliable due to mechanical issues, while the current patrol boat is not equipped for diving, water rescue, or recovery. The current costs are as of April 2022. Now, these items that I'm talking about today, they were actually discussed during the budget workshop, not on March 4th, but rather on April 18th. And on this very nice capital ranked spreadsheet, it is in the bottom red and ranked. The sheriff's office actually ranked this after the fleet of vehicles for its rotation plan, but it is a very high priority. And the sheriff is on board, literally, and maybe he would like to add something to this. And that's all I have.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I apologize for not being there, and any of my staff were going in every direction possible. I'm currently in Lander at a law enforcement conference. And again, I apologize for not being there, but as Ms. Marshall said, this is a vital piece of equipment. We don't ever want to have to use it, but unfortunately we do. And being able to do those recoveries and the patrolling of the gorge, in particular, those recoveries do bring a closure to the families when we do have those tragic, unfortunate mishaps or accidents that occur at the Flaming Gorge. And we have used that other boat for 46 years. I'd like to say I wasn't alive yet, but I was just shy of 2 years when that was put into service. So it's seen its use. And again, we can't put forth the money to maintain it, or if we can even find parts when something does go bad with it.
Well, John, what if we said that about you? You're about the same age. You served your useful purpose. And
Mr. Chairman, my body tells me that every morning when I wake up.
I do hear that. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Questions? Yes.
Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
You haven't apparently been watching the drought situation of where all that Flaming Gorge water's going to go here before you wrote this grant, did you?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Wendling, we did talk about that, and I like to have faith that gorge will be there for a while, and our citizens be able to recreate on that. And again, I'm optimistic that water's not all going to go away.
I agree with you. As long as we have snow, we'll have water to put in the gorge.
What other questions? Go ahead, Ms. Marshall.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I neglected to indicate that this price of $297,000 includes a trailer, and the Lieutenant Tomich has confirmed that they do not need an additional vehicle. They are set to pull this, so no more costs.
Even better.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, more reasonable question for the sheriff.
What's that?
Sheriff, this will be stored in your building out there out of the weather?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Wendling, absolutely. It's vital that we those pieces of equipment out of the elements. And additionally, some more information on that is knowing what we know and being an avid boater, this purchase is going to be a boat that will be able to maintain easier. It will have outboard engines on it, so we'll be able to use it in the cold, and we will not have to winterize it as you would inboard.
Thank you.
Nice. A lot of thought put into it. Excellent. What's your pleasure then, Commissioners, with our request to approve the purchase of an emergency water rescue patrol boat with the rest of that? Yes.
I would make a motion to approve the purchase of the emergency water rescue patrol recovery boat for the sheriff's office with coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds due to the COVID-19 pandemic as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I would second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Excellent. Tab H. Request approval to purchase vehicles for county government offices and departments with coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. Ms. Marshall.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, on this item, there are 5 departments involved in this specific request. And as stated previously, it is with the recovery funds and was submitted to the Capital Committee. So the first vehicle would be for the attorney's office. It's a replacement of a vehicle for field work and county and statewide travel, and a total request of $40,800. The second item is for the purchasing department, a delivery truck. This is to replace a current vehicle with 140,000 miles and the total estimated cost of $36,647.
Next, Road and Bridge Department requested 2 3/4-ton pickups. This is a replacement of vehicles and part of their ongoing rotation plan for a total of $83,720. Fourth, we have fleet and vehicle maintenance. This is for 3 pool vehicles. Again, part of a replacement plan for government work, such as when you go to Cheyenne, you can take one of the vehicles for your work. And that total estimate is $136,000. And last, the assessor's office is requesting a vehicle. This is also a replacement of a field vehicle for property inspections. That request is $50,000. The total request is $347,167. So some final notes, these purchases are necessary to carry out statutory and other government services for the community, and it's an allowable use of recovery funds. Again, these costs were approximate as of February, and this item was discussed during the budget workshop. It is in green on your capital workshop, capital committee summary. And in the workshop, it was listed in order of priority.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
We've also had a lot of conversations around the number of vehicles that we have in the county and the upkeep of those as they age and have miles put on them. Is there a plan with these vehicles, if they were to be approved, to get rid of other vehicles, and potentially, is that an issue if we were to gain, auction off or whatever other vehicles that we have or sell them, that we would be replacing, with some grant funding and then earning money on, the replacements that we're getting rid of?
So, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Shanefield, you will note all 5 of these individual requests are replacements, and it is my understanding that this would result in long-term cost savings because of the rotation plan. And I know our purchasing director as well as public works director are addressing that specific issue.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah.
And our public works director is here if you'd like to ask him more, so.
Okay. Other questions? I will note that in our budget meeting 2 weeks ago, we talked about having the capital committee look into our number of vehicles and provide recommendations. We got a list of those vehicles. I'm not sure that I didn't convey that to the capital committee necessarily. So perhaps we can do that and ask for our next meeting to have that discussion, our next budget meeting. We could have that discussion in 2 weeks. So what's your pleasure on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I will make the motion. I'm not opposed to spending government money.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. On to tab I, request approval to upgrade the county detention center security door and camera system with coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. Ms. Marshall still with us. Look at that.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, on this item, we are focusing on the Sweetwater County Detention Center. The first item is the door system upgrade. This is to maintain security standards by replacing the nearly obsolete door control system, including intercom and integration to the CCTV system. That request is $605,000. And then the second part of this would be the camera system upgrade. This is to improve security by replacing outdated cameras with deficient image quality and add new cameras and increase locations and storage. That request is $385,000. So again, these expenditures are necessary to provide critical public safety and law enforcement services to the community. It is an allowable use of recovery funds. These costs are approximate as of February 2022. And again, ARPA funding must be incurred by December 31st, 2024 and fully expended by December 31st, 2026. So some of these items could take a long time to receive and implement. And this was discussed during the budget workshop, and it is ranked on the capital committee's list as extremely high. And with that, I have our two local experts, Jean Legursky and Tim Knight. If you would like the unfortunate news, which maybe we shouldn't advertise too much about our system. So
Maybe not. Questions for Ms. Marshall or Sheriff Grossnickel, comments from you first.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, again, this is vital not only for the safety and security of the community and the detention center itself, but it also will allow us to have that safety when it comes to litigation. As we all know, the jail is a hotbed for litigation, and we've recently found that the camera system is worth its weight in gold, and upgrading it will only make it better.
Can I ask what company we may use?
Mr. Chairman, is that currently or what we are looking at?
What we're looking at going forward.
I would refer that to Tim. He's the one that's been doing all the back work on that.
Mr. Chairman, these items would have to go through a competitive procurement process. And I'm sure that our IT director would love to keep you in the loop of proposals.
Okay, thank you. Not that I own a security camera company or anything, but just, I don't know why I was curious. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, all I can say is this must be a far cry from 100 years ago when you had a rock jail with 5 bars on the window.
Good old days. What's your pleasure then, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the upgrades to the county detention center, security door and camera systems with coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Tab J, request approval to consolidate the county's door control system with coronavirus, state and local fiscal recovery funds. Ms. Michelle.
Mr.
Welcome.
Chairman, Commissioners, this is my final item. This one dealing with recovery funds is concerns the Sweetwater County facilities, the county courthouse, purchasing, and the Health and Human Services building. The request is to approve door lock consolidation. This involves the improved and centralized door lock security. In other words, during lockdowns, as we recently experienced, by bringing all exterior doors and new doors into the existing door control system for increased efficiencies. The request is for $120,000. Again, the costs are approximate, just to warn you about inflation costs, and it must be expended by December 31st, 2026. And this was also ranked extremely high by the Capital Committee. And with that, I have our experts still in the audience, if you'd like to ask them additional questions.
Any questions? Well, let's go with any questions at all for Ms. Marshall? Yes, Commissioner Toman.
What are we doing with this building? Are we having to do any upgrades that are going to require funding, additional funding? Or am I getting too far off track here?
No, currently that we have 4 different door lock systems in the county. Some of these systems, including the building here, they have to manually go around and touch each lock. So what we're going to do is take the Justice Center system that we have and expand that into the other buildings, including this building. The quote right now includes the exterior doors of those buildings, HHS, this building. Is that it? Purchasing. And then we might move to the interior doors as we can, but that's,
And that is part of this project?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Wendling.
Gene, a while back, we were attempting to get rid of the numbers and go to peer card readers. Is this going to do that?
It will on the exterior doors. So
Exterior for now.
exterior for now. As you know, most people have codes that we can punch in. And we took those out about 2 years ago and we started going through everything. It's a security safety thing. When you go to different class and everything. And the way I can describe this the easiest is, say my password to the door was 1191. You guys know it. I can give it to Chairman Smith. He can pass it on to somebody else. But if I have to actually physically reach my wallet, take out my card and give it to you and say, hey, you can use my card to open the doors. It's a little bit extra check, for somebody to do that. So we're starting to take those out of all the doors as we're starting to upgrade everything. This will just be the exterior doors. There will not even be a punch key on those anymore. All your guys' office still have those if you guys want to get in, but this is just all the punch keys, the Genetec system, like you see on those doors, will all be gone and obsolete and then put them in. It is a pain to go down to manage 4 different systems. Just for an example, if we lose somebody that has access to all the buildings, it takes 4.5 hours for one person to go around and visit all the doors that they have access to.
Question. When it brings to mind, since we're using CARES dollars, is there a reason we didn't want to do the interior doors in this building?
At cost right now, we could look at it, but it was original cost.
Original cost, but
Yeah,
it's,
when we
we're
looked at
talking CARES money,
Sure.
government money,
We can look at it and add it.
ARPA money,
ARPA
I'm
money,
sorry.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can look at it and add it. The other thing that we need to do interior wise, and we're working with the state fire marshal, is if you actually talk about fire evacuation and lockdowns, they're diametrically opposed to what you want to do.
Oh, exactly.
So we're working with the state fire marshal to figure out what we can and can't do on interior doors and do different things as far as keeping people in the building or getting people out of the building if it's burning. So when we're doing that, that's part of those, the system upgrades is making sure we have mag locks and different things on those. So it's a little bit more on the interior doors. But we can definitely take a look at that.
Thank you.
Other questions at all?
Thank you.
What's your pleasure, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I would make the motion and authorize you to sign if that's so required, or do you sign?
Can you read that blurb for me?
Request approval. I make a motion to approve the upgrade to the, whoops, wrong one. To consolidate the county's door control system with coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you.
It's good hand holding there. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you very much. Great work.
Capital Committee, Christina, whatever, whomever.
Well, and thank you for spending 1.7 million of federal money.
Happy to help. Tab K, Resolution 22-5-EN-01, restricting commercial vehicles on County Road number 1220 and County Road number 1221. Gene Legursky, what do you got for us? Welcome back.
Thank you. So basically what we have commercial vehicles going down Oxbow and Ox Yoke Lane and tearing stuff up. They use it for a turnaround. They park over there during weather events and stuff like that. We have an increased truck traffic over in that area because of the loves, and we've never had to do this before. Some residents approached me, say, hey, can we get some signs up there? And basically what they are is the signs that we put up on County Road 8 about 5 years ago. It's a no truck sign with the line through it, and then it says no commercial vehicles underneath it. That's why it's 2 different signs. Just to prevent traffic from going there, we've had to replace numerous stop signs. Jamestown Rio Vista just went in and upgraded that water system there. We would hate to get a fire hydrant hit. Those roads out there are not made for commercial trucks to go through there. The radiuses are incorrect and throat distance and stuff like that. So we would really like to just put those 2 signs up. on both entrances off of Highway 374 to restrict truck traffic. This won't mean it will stop it, but it will at least give law enforcement and us something to point to when we find people in there.
Thank you. And so we're putting a sign there just at the entrances because I see 1217, 1218, all are county roads as well, but you have to access them.
You have to access them for
20
those
and
two.
21. So
Yes.
but the sign's there to stop.
Yeah, the signs will just be right there off the highway right away, as tucked in.
And both sides of Oxyoke.
No, actually, Oxyoke this way, we don't have any problems. They don't ever go that way because there's no turnarounds down here.
Okay.
So I don't say we'll never have problems. I might be back in 6 months. But when you go down Oxyoke or Oxbow and turn around, it's a nice loop around for them when they get lost.
I see. Okay. Great. Questions? Other questions? Then what is your pleasure, commissioners? Any pleasure, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve resolution 22-05-EN-01 and instruct the county engineer to direct installation of the selective exclusion signs at the appropriate locations.
Well done. Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Thank you. Tab L, approval of the right-of-way renewal grant application for County Road number 78, Point of Rocks Landfill Road.
So this actually, it's a county road. It goes directly to the Point of Rocks landfill. The landfill has been closed since 1997. However, DEQ, solid waste district, stuff like that, have to access that to do periodic monitoring and stuff like that on it. We very seldom maintain the road. We go in and blade it every once in a while. But it's easier if we keep the license through the BLM than to make sure that one of those entities have to go through it. It just makes the paperwork way smoother. So what we're trying to do is get this for 20 years, and hopefully it'll be closed by that time and we'll be able to get rid of them. Most of the other ones that you see, we try to get for an indefinite time now, instead of doing a 25, 25 or 30-year renewal. So that if you go out to Point of Rocks and you take a left as you come underneath the road, that'll take you right to the Point of Rocks landfill.
I didn't know it was out there. Questions for Mr. Legursky? Then what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would move, I'd make a motion to approve the renewal application for a right-of-way grant from the BLM for Seat County Road 78 Point of Rocks Landfill Road and allow the chairman to sign all necessary documents.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Excellent. Moving right along, tab M. Whoops, hit the wrong button. Motion to approve the renewal application for a right-of-way grant from the BLM for County Road 39, Sweeney Ranch Road.
Same thing. This came up. It's due up in November, and it's Sweeney Ranch Road is out off of 430 on the, I'll call it this, the northeast side of Aspen Mountain. It's about 5 miles from Simplot if you go down there. It actually goes into the Clark subdivision, which has, I want to say 8 or 10 homes back there, plus some other ones that are scattered out throughout that valley down there. So it is critical for these residents to have access. So we need to, we go across two sections of BLM, I believe 2.5 sections of BLM on this. So we'll need to get their approval to continue access for the residents.
That sounds fair. We should let people get to their homes. I'm all for that.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Commissioners, what's your pleasure on allowing people to get to their homes?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
make a motion to approve the renewal application for the right-of-way grant from the BLM for County Road 39, Sweeney Ranch Road, and allow the chairman to sign all necessary documents.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, excuse me, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tab N, request to staff a vacant seasonal election clerk in the clerk's office. Cindy Lane, you okay going by yourself? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't see
all
Gary
right.
here, so Sorry, my bad.
Good morning, Ash.
My apologies, Ashley.
Okay, so we are, yeah, go ahead. We are requesting to restaff 3 people. I don't
Thank
have a loud enough voice, yep. We're requesting to restaff 3 people to help Cindy and the election department with the election season, since it's a busy one this year. So there's 2 different elections and these people will go through both elections.
Ms. Lane?
Chairman, commissioners, actually, I don't know why it says restaffing. What this is we have contract workers throughout the election season that we use to help prepare absentee ballots, help the 2 elections clerks that are in there while they're doing their other various jobs as well, register people to vote, answer the phones, answer questions while they're getting the paperwork and the actual election set up. They will rotate through. They don't all work on the same day. We just have to have the 3 in case someone's on vacation or can't come in that day because they are just part-time when we need them positions. And this is already being requested in the budget. So there's no additional monies going in from the budget requests that I have for elections. So we have 3 people that are already trained. And so it's not something that will go out. It's just individuals that we have used in the past and who are already trained and have taken oaths and stuff for the elections.
Bringing them back.
Yeah.
Nice. And already budgeted for. That's pretty easy.
I just have to have approval to have the contracts.
Sure. Questions? Seeing none, what is your pleasure, my fellow commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would make a motion to restaff the seasonal election clerk
Helpers.
positions in the clerk of district court's office.
No, county clerk,
County clerks.
sorry.
What did I do? Jump ahead here. Is that all?
Yes.
You have to have a signature for the contracts by the chairman. No?
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And request the chairman to sign.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get that, Sally? Sorry.
I think that the motion was to request to rehire 3 seasonal election helpers for approximately 6 months, 30 hours a week with no benefits, and allow the chairman to sign.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay,
I'll second that.
thank you. Any additional discussion? Ashley's done. She's like, man, I'm out of
Ashley's
here.
out.
I'm out of this mess. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Thanks, Ashley.
Any opposed, say nay. Thank you. Yeah, she wanted out quick.
She's
Don't
like,
blame
okay.
her. Tab O, resolution establishing election districts. Yay.
Hi. Me again. Okay, so the first item I have is a resolution to establish election districts. I have sent over all that information. We did not change any of our election districts during this redistricting process.
Wow.
So we will still have, I tried to keep as much consistent as I can because there was enough changes for all of us. I didn't need extras. So you'll see on here, we're still going to have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, and 25. So our election districts again. So if my precinct is 5-4, my election district is 5, my precinct number is 4. So we did not change any of the first numbers of your precinct. It's going to be the last one that changes. So, but just in accordance with Wyoming State Statute 227101, the county commissioners are required to divide the county into not more than 30 election districts with the advice or recommendation of the county clerk.
Good. How many precincts are going to change then?
I'll get to that one next if you don't,
Oh,
I
my
mean, just so I
bad.
have something to talk
Okay,
about.
let's go with that. Questions aside from my silly one? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Cindy, how long have we had these set in the same manner?
I believe in the 2012 redistricting, there were some additions
Okay, thank
to
you.
those, but we have enough for this time.
Other questions? What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd move that we approve resolution number 22-05-CC-01 designation of Sweetwater County election districts as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Thank you. Cindy, why don't you tell us about those?
Absentee polling
Yeah.
locations establishing. Okay. All right. So next we have resolution number 22-05-CC-02. Resolution adopting Enrolled Act number 45 and establishing a location for absentee voting and counting center for Sweetwater County. The 58th legislature adopted House Bill number 154 with amendments and such is now Enrolled Act 45. House of Representatives, and whereas the Board of Sweetwater County Commissioners may elect to adopt one or both of the alternative procedures for casting, collecting, and counting. Whoops, I have an error right there. Counting absentee ballots as set forth in Enrolled Act 45. The county clerk is desirous of establishing an absentee polling place and counting center in Sweetwater County Courthouse, and which polling place will be equipped to accommodate voters from all districts and precincts within the county, and such polling place shall be open the same hours as the courthouse on normal business days during the time period allowed for absentee voting, all in compliance with Enrolled Act number 45, and said polling place shall use electronic voting systems to tabulate such absentee ballots. So in other words, what we're going to do is what we did downstairs in 2020, where people came to vote. We are going to have that in my office, and that way we need less people to man that, and people can come in absentee vote, actually vote their ballot right there and tabulate it with no results, just tabulate it. And then on election day, those results will be plugged in and tabulated completely. That way they can do that here. And also then the absentee vote center is where we have the absentee vote count team who opens up the ballots on election day, processes them, and puts them through the tabulation machine. And by state statute, we have to have that approved through the commissioners to hold that here at the courthouse.
Thank you. Any other, that'll be the only place to absentee vote here at the courthouse?
Yes, it's the only place it's allowed.
Thank you. Questions? Other questions? Then what is your pleasure, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Whitman.
I would
Sorry, Mr.
move that
White.
we accept resolution number 22-05-CC-02. A resolution adopting Enrolled Act number 45 and establishing a location for absentee voting and counting center for Sweetwater County, Wyoming as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
authorized chairman to sign. Is
No.
his signature the only one on there?
No, it's
Is
a
it?
resolution. Yes.
I didn't see
all-
the second page, so.
All we all sign, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll authorize the board to sign. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Nay. Thank you. On to tab Q. Right? Yes.
Okay.
These are starting to look a lot alike.
They are, but this one is the big one. So we'll go through that. And yes, I will get the second page. I don't know where the second page of that resolution. It's not in there, but we have it in the, for you to sign.
Got it
All
here.
right, I gotta get my glasses out for this one because it's tiny.
It is small.
It is very small.
You're not going to read the whole thing, are you?
No, I'm not going to. It is on the website.
Perfect.
All right, so this is resolution 22-05-CC-03, establishing precinct boundaries. The precinct boundaries have changed due to redistricting. We did our best to clean the lines up and make as few of splits as we could. At one point, I was looking at having the special districts vote by mail in order to clean them up even further. However, after the completion of all of this, it really only saved 5 splits, so it wasn't worth the change. So we will not be doing that. In case you hear about that, we're not doing that. Because we ended up with 39 splits, I think, anyway. So it's all good. All right, so yes, so you should have maps with your packet. And I provided the previous maps that say 2012 across them so that you can see the changes that were made, and then included the new maps. And I would like to thank Megan from our GIS mapper and Destiny, my elections clerk, for working so hard on this. Well, all of this was going on and learning this process, which was new to all of us. As you can see from your changes that are listed in establishing the precinct boundaries, The county clerk has recommended and advised the Board of County Commissioners of Sweetwater County to consolidate election precincts, and being precinct boundary numbers will change due to historical data preservation. The purpose of these changes is to bring the boundaries into conformance with the requirements of the legislation relating to reapportionment passed by the 66th legislature of the state of Wyoming 2022 session, and to create new precincts for the convenience of the public. So I believe I came and explained that a while back. Just to once again do that. We had some precincts that were separate who were receiving the exact same ballot, which means I had to print more ballots that were exactly the same, and they voted at the same polling location. So it was redundant. So we did clean that up and make that more cost savings as well, and to create less ballots to have to give out. So the list there shows all the different changes we made. I'll just read like the first one, precinct 1, 2. Polling location will be the Granger Town Hall and will be a new precinct to follow House district lines. It was previously 1, 1. So what we did with the polling or the precinct numbers is I did change those in order to, if you come in to ask for the previous election data for precinct 1, 1, that is preserved. So we created a new precinct 1, 2, and that will start with this election and have that historical data. And this should last for hopefully 10 years. But if you can see down, some did not change, others changed a little. So this document here sets the precinct boundaries and sets the polling locations.
Questions as I continue browsing through here? Any questions?
Just a comment.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Cindy, I want to just thank you and your staff. There's a lot of work to be put into this and getting ready for this process. And it's definitely seen in the product we've seen in the last three pieces of information provided, specifically this packet. So I do want to thank you and your team.
I appreciate that. Everyone's done a lot of hard work. I will say our polling locations have stayed the same as the last for the special election. However, we did have a few people we moved around for too many people in one polling location, but all of them were more convenient for the voter than, let's say it's closer to their house or it's on the same street. So we moved some from the HHS building, which is very crowded, just down the street to the Bunning Freight Station. And I would like to thank the city of Rock Springs for donating that building and waiving the fee. I did have a lot of favorable compliments and comments about that polling location. People really like the way you can go in one door, out the other. It's very easily accessible. So we did keep that polling location.
Nice. Other questions, comments?
Just a comment, please,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. Cindy, thank your staff. Thank you, everybody. It's been tough getting through this.
Well, and it just starts again today. So once hopefully this is approved, then it's changing everyone's address to go into their new precinct so that when you look up, you know where you are going. Oh yeah, we had 6 days to do this. It has to be done by 5 o'clock on May 11th. So that candidate filing begins May 12th. Goes through May 27th, and you have to know what ward you're in, what house district you're in. So all of the addresses will be changed over starting the minute you approve this.
Very good. Thank you.
My only question is, why do I have to go to Bear Oil to vote?
You do. I said, let's make sure Chairman Smith needs to go to Bear Oil and see how far it is for those people to have to vote.
Okay.
Like
Fun.
60 miles to Wamsutter.
Maybe I'm not reading this right. but
No,
that's
no.
Just kidding.
I just made sure it was you.
Excellent. Thank you for the great work. And what is your pleasure?
Mr.
Commissioners?
Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 22-05-CC-03, establishing precinct boundaries as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. It's a busy, busy time for you. Thanks
Thank you, Cindy.
to the crew for the great work. Tab R, Commissioner Toman. We're going to ratify draft comments for the FGNRA FNERGA proposed management direction.
I'm going to take a few minutes to read this because we're pretty much on time, because I feel like maybe I have been remiss and not fully
I will point
informing.
out that we're not on time. We're 20 minutes behind time, but go ahead and read.
Oh,
Just saying.
well, so anyway.
Carry on.
I'll
Mr.
read
Chairman.
very slowly then.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I want to point out that we have had this in the packet and have had the opportunity to read through all of it in preparation for the meeting. So.
Okay, well then I won't read it all, but I just encourage you to please read what the Coalition of Local Governments, what our charge is, what we have been doing when we comment on behalf of Sweetwater County Commission. When these comments are submitted, they are a result of Commissioner Wendling and I are the pair that usually attend the cooperator meetings. This is still it is not pre-decisional. It has been, these comments are written as a result of 2 days of meetings with stakeholder groups, trying to give direction to the Forest Service for the separate Flaming Gorge Recreation Area Plan. So I just wanted to clarify that part. It is part of the Ashley National Forest plan, but it will be a separate sub-plan specifically for our Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area. So they just identified a lot of the concerns that were brought out, and they're important for us to consider as they will affect our county. And as a side note, the Ashley National Forest, that plan will be has accepted scoping comments and will now be going into pre-decisional meetings. They've asked for the buzzword deep dive, 2 days of deep dive meetings in Vernal in mid-June. So I will hopefully be able to attend those meetings, but so will the lawyer will be doing it via Zoom through the coalition.
Thank you.
So I would like to make a motion to ratify the comments submitted for the the Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area Management Plan Revision Direction.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the discussion. I'll say I appreciate the fire management portion in there of allowing 10% to burn, and I'm just not sure we need that now. So I appreciate that opposition to that. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Thank you. Commissioner Lloyd, tab S. Elected official salary. I clicked on the wrong thing now. I lost the time.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Chairman Smith. I was to tell you, I'm really super not excited to present my thoughts and process, but and I will try to make it quick. I do want to share that some of the information that I've tried to seek out is reached out some other counties, specifically Campbell, because they were at a commissioner there. They haven't made their formal decisions. I've looked at data. I want to tell you I've had about 13,332 conversations approximately with us, Assessor Davis, maybe not 13,000, but a few.
And one more to go.
What's that? Well, I don't know if we'll get the floor. And so, so with that being said, I came up with 2 or 3 options that we could take a look at. And of course, I'm open to that. I also, so the first option is basically just what I'm throwing out there because it is always an option, and that's to stay the same. The second option I've came up with is to take a look at the elected officials haven't had a raise since 2015. And in that same period of time, our employees have seen a 10.25% COLA, approximately 10.5% COLA. One of my recommendations could be to maybe look at moving them to 111, which is a little more than that COLA, with the concept of possibly providing an extra 5 to 6% to that based upon future possible COLAs, which would put it between 115 and 17. And that could be done one of 2 ways, all at once, or it could also be put toward in an incremental standpoint. And that's kind of where I want to go. My third concept is something I'm going to need a little bit of help with, possibly Attorney De Leon, because I did reach out to John regarding some thoughts of maybe how to look outside of the box at this a little bit and leave no stone unturned. So with the second option, if we were to do that, we could either just give it a one lump sum if we decided we want to predict future COLAs if we wanted to or not, or that could be actually done in incremental if you made it that way in the motion of at year one, this would be the salary. At year two, it would go up. In year three, that would be legal according to the Attorney General opinion. Am I correct, John? Okay. So the second way I looked outside of the box on this was, what if we were able to separate out the salaries based upon experience going into the position? And there's a difficulty in this because the word experience could be defined differently. So maybe, for example, if we put something like, if someone brought 8 years experience in, they would be at this salary. If they brought 0 years of experience in, they would be at this salary. And I think that could compensate people for being elected a couple of times, which was one of my concerns is we're not electing the person. We're not setting the salary for the person. We're setting the salary for the position. The problem with that is it's really subjective, and it could come back to haunt us regarding maybe if someone was in the treasurer's office. We just had Rob retire there of 31 years. So his salary could be significantly different than someone that came in new under this proposal, which is once again, out of the box. No other county is really looking at this concept that I know of. But the problem is if someone came in 15 years of experience in a financial office, they could make the argument. So we could be in trouble in that concept. So John, something I came up with this morning in discussion would be, what if we made it as specific to, if it was someone's first term, this is what the salary would be set at. If this is their second term, this is what the salary would be set out. And if it's their third term or vice versa, this is what their salary would be set at. Would that be specific enough to move away from the concern that we talked about? And I know I'm throwing something to you kind of at the last second, and I do want to thank John because
But you're going to anyway.
yeah, so because John is always willing to listen to some of my crazy thought processes I throw out or that are a little bit unconventional, but I do think this is something we could look at to alleviate some of the concerns.
So yeah, I mean, each way of looking at it, you know, there's case law that says that the statute is clear, that there's not a lot of variability in terms of the language used. And so when you look at that, the case law in and of itself, it's kind of saying, hey, we're saying set it. And we're saying set it specifically. So when you read that language, it kind of would urge the board to pick a specific number. And that's what the statute is referring to. There was, as Commissioner Lloyd identified, there was an AG opinion, a specific opinion written saying that there could be, if it was a specific number, then that didn't violate the Constitution. So you have an AG opinion, you have some of that case law, and moving forward, then with that in mind, then you would have to make a decision. And so, yes, if it's specific where an AG opinion said, if you said it's this much this year, this much this year, this much this year, they said that didn't violate the Constitution. If you were to take into account the experience, yes, it is. It does have a degree of a reference that is. It does lend itself to different discussion and interpretation. So it's not, even though it is same, it's very, very specific. Some of the language that is used is that you are setting salaries for the duties. And that is, so that's a specific term that is used. It doesn't say for experience. So although it is very specific, there isn't any variability there. So it would check that particular box, but it is addressing, it is going to another box which is identifying that the language that is used is duties, and there's one other one that I think it's not responsibilities, but it's essentially in the same nature as duties. So it doesn't specifically reference experience. So there is some distinction between saying that that is doesn't violate the Constitution and the statutes versus the question of creating grades by year. Does that answer your question?
If it answers the other commissioners' questions, yeah.
So we can not do by year. We could do by experience.
Mr. Chairman, no, the opposite.
Opposite way. Okay.
The opposite. So if you did this
Year by
year, it's
year
this amount,
for
this year, it's this
duties.
amount, there's an AG opinion on point
Okay.
to that issue. When you identify experience, the statute identifies that you're setting salaries for the duties.
Okay.
Not, it doesn't say experience, it does use the word duty. And so there is, even though it would be very specific and no variability, it does, bring into mind, what is the salary being set for? Is it being set for duties, or is it being set for experience?
And do we feel like we can do that annually, year by year, or term by term?
Again, you would have to do it term by term, but can you do it annually? Again, that's what that AG opinion did reference, is the possibility of having it year by year, or let's say 2 years. One at the beginning, then 2 years in, it's this amount. To finish out the term. So that is what the AG opinion did contemplate.
Carry on, Commissioner Lloyd.
What was that, Jeff? Sorry.
Carry on. What?
So those were the three options I came out of. I really don't have three fleshed out because it's something that's kind of happened in the last really 12 to 16 hours. I was able to have a conversation with John last night, would be legal or not. And we did have the concerns, and then actually having a conversation with someone else this morning led me to believe maybe we could create it more specific that way too. So it was something I wanted to explore. And so if that's something the commission would like, I would like to maybe be able to have 2 weeks to flesh that out, because we do have until the 17th to make that decision. I should also flash to say, as we have this discussion, I think as a commission, we've discussed as a whole that we've kind of looked at the elected officials in a couple of tiers. The first tier, and this came out the first day we had this discussion, that the sheriff and the county attorney would be in one tier, and the other elected officials in the other tier. And as we talked last night at the meeting, the commission salaries are a whole different ballgame that John was going to do some research on for us anyway. So this would be specifically for that group that included the clerk of courts, the assessor, the treasurer. So I guess those are some thoughts I had. I just want to throw it out to my fellow commissioners at this point.
Thank you. Comments? Well, I'll start with one. So we have stay the same, 10% COLA, or specific for the number of terms. And I think that the vast majority of other counties are just looking at a new number. Is that something you've looked at as well?
Will you repeat that, Jeff?
I think the vast majority of counties have just looked at a new number, say $100,000 to $125,000 now. Have we looked at that, or is that not something that you're?
I did not look at 125.
I'm not saying 125. I'm just saying we have stay the same. We have a 10% COLA, which would be roughly $10,000, or we have specific for the number of terms. I guess that could be part of that. Are we increasing, or have we thought of just the easy? We're going to 125, we're going to 135, and that's the number for that position. I was just asking because I don't see that as one of the options that you presented.
Yeah, I had not looked at that.
Other questions? Mr. Davis, comments for us?
I've also had 13,000 conversations with Commissioner Lloyd as well. I did get new information from the county assessor in Campbell County. Campbell County just approved 115 for their coroner, 145 for their attorney, and all other elected officials, they went to 135. So that was one of the counties that we had talked about as comparing ourselves to. I personally, all the documentation that I've sent you, I've specified that I think Campbell County is the best comparison for Sweetwater based on the minerals, the workload, the number of parcels, valuation, all of those kinds of things that matter in our elected positions. I think Campbell County is the best answer. I have sent multiple emails, spreadsheets, all of that stuff to you guys. And I just want to hit the high points. I just want to make sure everybody understands, where we're at. The elected officials haven't received a raise since 2015. Okay, this is a statutory change, and it may not change again for a very long time. And in that situation, we may not see another change. It may be another 11 years. It may be another 14 years. It may be another 16 years. We don't know, but when it takes a legislative change, it's a much bigger deal than just a cost of living adjustment for the employees. You had talked about COLA amounts, and I would counter that since 2015, at least on the research I've done and I've provided to you, inflation has gone up 25%. And that's something where we're making less than we were in 2015 when our salaries did change. Just looking at the numbers, and I actually agree with Commissioner Lloyd finally, I have put I put the sheriff and the attorney in a different box. I mean, I think everybody's on the same page with those positions and how valuable they are with public safety, keeping attorneys, all those kinds of things. So they are not part of my calculation. But if you look at the salary change, if we went to 135, and that's just a number, it doesn't have to be the number, but that change from where we're at currently to what it would entail is 0.564% with the budget increases we've just talked about. Now, the valuation is going to be close, probably between 2.4 and 2.5 billion dollars this year. Last year, we were at $1.975 billion. So we've got more valuation than we did the year before. I have had this conversation with Commissioner Lloyd as well. I believe salaries are a measuring stick of value in an organization. And you just heard our county clerk come up and talk about all the work she had to do to get our elections, get them statutorily compliant, get people to vote, those elections being certified, our county treasurer's in the back. The value that I certify, he turns into tax dollars. Not only does he collect it, he distributes it. My job as the assessor is to list and value all taxable property within the county. We do that so we can create revenue. The clerk of district court upstairs, she's actually working on attorneys, make sure people get on trials, make sure people get competent jurors. She's notifying all those, child support, all those things. All of those are very, very important to the residents of this county. And when you compare those jobs to the jobs of our department heads, which I still go back to, our jobs are equal value. In my opinion, you can't do what you do without the assessor, the clerk, the treasurer. But we also can't do the things we do without our IT director, our public works director, our purchasing director, our grants coordinator. All of those positions are equally as important as ours. And I believe the salaries need to be comparable. Now, the spreadsheet that I provided to you shows a 6% cost of living adjustment for the department heads, and then a 3% cost of living adjustment at some point in the future. Who knows how the valuations are going to be and what's going to happen. And with those changes, in my mind, 130, 135 keeps us right in the ballpark. We are being paid competently with those other department heads. I do believe there is an extra layer that we actually adhere to, and that's simply we have to answer to all 42,000 residents of this county. I mean, you guys do as well. You hear about it every time there's a pothole in a road. We hear it every time I send out an assessment schedule, every time a tax bill goes out, every time a motor vehicle registration goes out, every time somebody tries to vote, we hear it all the time. And in my opinion, there's an extra layer of responsibility there to the public that needs compensation. Now, all of this stuff is in the information I've sent you. I'm not going to belabor a lot of these points because you've already heard it. But I just want to caution you and understand, in my opinion, these are not political positions either. I mean, I have 400 hours of continuing education. That's not a political position. That's a career. And I believe that career is valuable to the people of Sweetwater County, and I believe that it should be compensated accordingly. So I would answer any questions. I'll get out of your hair. I know you're trying to get through with the agenda and stuff, but I do think we are just as valuable as your department heads, and I would really hope that you would consider us that way and make our salaries comparable.
Dave, we always have time for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No rush.
Okay.
Questions?
Well, yes, I do have a commission.
Please do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You won't like it, but
Okay.
well, what did you think of the salary study that was done by the Wyoming County Commission Association, which shows the elected officials, their average salaries are around 60,000?
Commissioner Tolman, we are not average. Sweetwater County deserves better. You're looking at counties that have no mineral valuation. An average is a terrible measuring stick because, and the economic development presentation that Kayla talked about, I have a slide that shows the valuation of 3 agricultural counties compared to 3 mineral counties. And when you see the chart, you can't see the valuation on the chart. And that's the difference. All of the different things that go along with the minerals, the additional valuation, the responsibilities of the sheriff, the coroner, all of the elected officials and all of our department heads, our road and bridge people, all of that matters, and that valuation is what drives that. And I'll say it again, we are not average. I think we have a very, very good group of department heads and elected officials. And average is, like I said, it's just not a good measuring stick.
Thank you.
Can I ask you to run through the Campbell counties again? Coroner was 115. Who was 145? And then 135. I didn't write those down.
And is their coroner full-time or are they part-time?
Yeah, I think their coroner is full-time. And the county attorney, they went to 145. All the other elected, including the sheriff, they went to 135. Now, I don't know what the logic was. I don't know where they're coming from with that. I still think our sheriff deserves to be in that higher tier. But that's for you guys to decide, but that is what they did. And the vote was 4-1, according to the official text news media. So
Just today?
just about 5 minutes ago,
Just now. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I got the text at 11:07.
Nice. Any other questions?
Well, I guess there's all kinds of variations, so we have to make a decision, but I agree with Commissioner Lloyd to gather more information and present us some options.
Okay. I'm in.
Although I've had those meetings too with you.
We need to have some more.
And I keep recommending maybe that some of those should go down based on the duties. I just want to point that
Oh,
out.
Let's talk.
But I agree, you are not average. None of you are average. So I agree with that.
No,
So thank
nowhere
you.
near average.
Thank you. Then I would go with the recommendation from Commissioner Lloyd. We will need to make a decision at our next meeting on the 17th, but kicking the can down the road for 2 more weeks,
Yes.
so we can just talk some more.
Please come talk to us. I mean, if you really want to know what goes on and you want to know where the value comes from, please come talk to us.
Thank you. On to tab T. Specific purpose tax survey and discussion of next steps with Commissioner Shanefield.
Absolutely.
Oh, the big one.
Okay. I don't know how big this is. It's all going to be going out in a press release as well, but I wanted to have conversation with us. So the key insights page that is in our agenda. I wanted to, you guys have had access to this, but for the public's sake, I wanted to just run briefly through this and then go over what the committee discussed after we were presented the results, and then what the stakeholder group discussed after they were presented these results. So that happened 2 weeks ago on Thursday. We had our committee meeting where these were presented to us. We met again on Monday, and then we had our stakeholder meeting on Tuesday evening to go through these as well. So basically, we had a lot of results. We had, I think it was slightly over 900 surveys turned in, which is really good. Because this isn't scientific, there was no comparison on, what that looks like in comparison to our population in total. So, did we have the number of Republicans vote that, corresponds with how many Republicans we have registered? That's just an example. But so in general, after reading through all of these, the committee really looked at, we need to figure out a way to get streamline it and get rid of any projects that are not basic infrastructure projects for the communities. And we need to look at how we can keep it under 5 years. Those were comments that I would have made before moving forward with the survey. However, I think that it's really good for us to see that through this survey and identification through the survey, that our residents are not interested in looking at any quality of life projects at this point in time, which at the rate of inflation that we have going on and everything else, I completely understand that. So a lot of the cities, municipalities have already really gone to work and cut their things back. I do have an updated list that I will be sharing with you all shortly. I actually need to have a conversation with the city of Rock Springs, and I would like to look, all of the smaller municipalities, we've cut back to their single number one priority of basic infrastructure. The events complex has elected to withdraw all of their projects except for the one water line installation, because they won't be able to meet current fire code without that. And then the Superior, North Rock Springs, all of those, it was the very basic initial infrastructure projects. So that's where we're looking at right now. We do have a public meeting May 11th, which is next Wednesday at Western Wyoming Community College in the 3650 room that's up by the dance studio. That's going to be from 6 to 7:30, and it's going to be an open public forum. So people can come in and say what they'd like to say or ask questions and then leave, and they will stay there the entire amount of time. We will also allow for Zoom interaction because we don't want to force those folks from Bear Oil to drive all the way to be in person. If they have a comment, they can meet over Zoom and do that as well. So I guess I would entertain any questions from the commission on the results of this survey and any recommendations that you guys think moving forward for the committee. The survey has been rolled out to a few of the municipalities. It will be rolled out to the remaining municipalities this evening, I believe. And then there are a few areas that I would like to look at where we can continue to cut just based on percentage of population. And that's kind of the direction that I'm headed right now. So I'd entertain any questions.
Thank you. My question would be the two numbers that stick out to me. 39% indicated they would support without much detail. 1%, 49% were more likely to support with details. Are those numbers combined, or is it just 10% more? The 39%, if you don't have details, we jump it up 10% if you get details, or is it 88%? You adding them together?
So they're not added together.
Okay.
They're the same pool of people. However, I believe that, and if you look at, those folks that were kind of in the middle, there's the middle liars that could potentially, they're kind of just waiting to get information. And we also have to remember that this survey, we don't have even a list of projects that we're moving forward with or choosing to move forward with yet. We haven't even made a decision around that. So there has been minimal, other than a list put out, there has been no education or information put out about any potential projects. So really, these survey respondents had the opportunity to look at a full list of what was put out there, but they don't have any details. And so I think that those numbers are pretty significant in the positive for people not having information. But we also don't want to put information out about projects if we aren't sure we're going to move forward with them. So we do need to, at this point, start looking at, where's the commission looking at that line being drawn, then going back to the cities, the municipalities, and saying, okay, cut back to this. Now what's your project list? And then if we choose to move forward at that point, then we would start educating the public on what those projects were and what they, that kind of thing.
So 49% approval at this point we're feeling good about them?
With no information other than what they've gotten the statistically, yes, and the committee felt positive about the results as well. The other thing we have to remember too is, and I should have gone into this before throwing it back to you guys too, but the survey is one tool of where we are right now. And we also had our stakeholder group meeting, so we've met twice. And there has been overwhelming support around specific purpose in general. And in fact, I had somebody in the meeting bring up, this is the longest we've ever gone without having a specific purpose tax in this community. You know, maybe not ever, but since, you know, for the all of our memories. And that, and that the fact that, you know, we are looking at these projects, we, you know, really need to hone in. We need to listen to what the community members are saying. And then we need to put it forth for a vote. There was also a lot of support in the stakeholder meetings around quality of life projects. And so that was one big difference between the survey and the stakeholder meetings, was that the quality of life projects. And in the last stakeholder meeting, there was also discussion that maybe we should take some quality of life projects and put them on a separate ballot question. I personally I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but we have to take all inputs and then we have to value them. And then the next input that we'll have outside of, you know, all of the community conversations that we're all having is that open meeting. And then I think after we have that and we get, you know, comments or questions or anything like that from there, we'll have a pretty good understanding around what the community thoughts are.
Questions, comments for Commissioner Shanefield?
What did you consider quality of life projects?
So anything that would potentially be used to improve, you know, add additional services, like your events complex, your beautification projects, the downtown Main Street, the green belt, those projects. So the base
ambulance wouldn't be quality of life.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, comments?
Where's Green River and Rock Springs, or do we know yet?
So Green River has cut all quality of life projects. They are down to basic infrastructure. They are one that is over the percentage by a fair amount that the committee or the commission decided on last time, which I kind of gave them as a base. So I think that there's a little bit of room for Green River to come down, but they willingly cut all of their quality of life projects. Rock Springs is actually the only community that has any left. And I believe they're working through how they want to move forward with that anyway. But they're still having conversations. So.
Other comments, questions?
Nothing regarding the insights, but when they're done with it, go to the next one.
Okay. Looks like we're there.
We're there. Okay. Lauren, or Mr. Chairman, have we decided which projects the county's going to sponsor? I'd look through our minutes and everything, and I haven't seen anything yet.
I don't think
so.
I mean, there's been suggestions, but nothing's been decided yet. Not yet.
Okay. And of course, if we went to a menu list, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
That's true.
Correct.
Very good. Thank you.
Are you looking at that option menu type?
That has been discussed. However, the discussion was also, if we went to a menu, we would need to ensure that the small communities wouldn't, because is Rock Springs going to vote for Wamsutter to have a water line? And the whole basis behind, and some might, because they see the value of that within our communities. However, the population sources are here in the community. The reasoning behind the specific purpose tax, in my understanding, and the actual legislation is to help assist the smaller communities in doing those basic infrastructure projects, because they don't bring enough money in from their original tax base. So we don't want to leave them out. We want to make sure that they get a project completed. We were talking in our last few meetings about having a basic infrastructure one question, and then potentially the quality of life one question. That was what the conversation was, but that's not been decided, obviously.
So it could be a combination.
Absolutely.
So if you did a menu thing, you could do like infrastructure, water treatments, and put lump them all together.
And you could do all roads and sewer. You could look at it that way as well.
And then proportion it out based on population or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good discussion. So what's your next week meeting? And then we'll have you follow up even after that. So-
Yes, so I have requested from Sarah from TurnCore what their proposal would be moving forward if they were to continue to support us, if we continue to move forward with this process, just so that we have that ahead of time as well. So I'm assuming she's going to be getting back with me this week with those numbers and some different options for us, if that's something we want to do. We have our public meeting. I will be putting together a press release summarizing the survey results. I will include the new project list and show the communities as well, like where we've made cuts and, you know, what we're looking at currently versus what we were looking at before. And then the public meeting will be next week, May 11th. That's Wednesday from 6 to 7:30 at Western Wyoming Community College. And that's in room 3650. And it's both the combined AB of that. And that is upstairs, kind of by the gym, upstairs by the dance room, dance studio.
I know right where the dance studio is.
Oh, absolutely.
There all the time, leg warmers and all. Very good. Thank you. Appreciate the hard work that's gone into us. And that's, you know, I don't even know if we're halfway there. You know, there's more to happen for sure. And so we appreciate the information, and we'll make some informed decisions as we continue to move forward.
The public input process is, I think, takes the longest,
Mhm.
just because you have to give people a certain amount of time to make comments, and then you need to react to those and, you know, work through that whole process. And so I think we're getting close to getting that portion. It wouldn't obviously ever be complete because we are consistently taking input, but completed for the purposes of starting to make some decisions.
Good.
So it's good.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Anything else before we go into executive session? And then we'll have good of the order after that. Not, I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion in a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 5-minute break.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's come on back at